Well, UC Davis wins the coin toss, and interesting enough, Todd, the Aggies defer their selection to the second half, so YSU will get the ball to begin the game. And usually you would think with an offense which is predicated on scoring some points and throwing the football, and maybe not known for its defense, you would think UC Davis would want the ball first and not allow the Penguins maybe establish the momentum early.
Yeah, you're right. You would think they would want to get on the field, put some points on that scoreboard as quickly as possible. We're used to seeing Youngstown State, when they win the toss, always deferring, putting their defense on the field first, but their defense has been their claim to fame for many years here. So very interesting call by UC Davis to start this ball game.
So Youngstown State will get the football, led by quarterback Tom Zetz. A week ago, the Penguins, and a lot of their numbers now are going to be skewed because of that matchup against Penn State a week ago, where YSU totaled just 3 points, played well for the first 20 minutes of that matchup, and then the size and speed of Penn State took over with a 20-point second quarter. There you get a good look at head coach John Haycock, now in his 6th season with Youngstown State, taking over for head coach Jim Tressel, who has gone down state Route 71 in Ohio to the Ohio State University. He'll be opposed today by Bob Biggs, now in his 14th year as the head coach with the Aggies of UC Davis. Back deep for YSU will be number 17, Tyler Griffin, and number 14, Miles Davis, awaiting the opening kick. The ball will be put in play by number 14, Emmanuel Benjamin, the junior from Modesto, California. UC Davis in the traveling white jerseys, Youngstown State in the home reds, as we get set to get the first ever meeting between these two schools underway. So far, overcast skies. Little rain, if any, has fallen here in northeastern Ohio. The lights are on, and we're set for some football. This one's underway. Griffin, a yard deep into the end zone. He'll bring it out for the Penguins. Stopped at the 25. Tackled there by the Aggies, Nevin Bergen. Here's a look at Youngstown State's starting offense.
Pat Walker, Bedford, Ohio.
Brad Samsa, Allen.
Ryan Jewell, Warren Harding.
Josh Tanner, Orlando, Florida.
Tyler Booth, New Philly, Ohio.
Louis Arizari, Ursuline Heights.
So the Penguins set up shop, and they'll go to the air on first down. Zetz on the roll. Has his man, Josh Kaysen, makes the catch out to the 44-yard line. That's a gain of 19 yards and a first down for the Penguins, as Zetz comes in completing 63% of his passes. And for Josh Kaysen, that'll be his second grab of the young season.
Josh Kaysen, a converted running back at that wide receiver position, brings a lot of talent, a lot of skill to that position, and we saw it on that first play.
Penguins go with a single back set. Kaysen in motion, but they give to Marcus Mason. He'll get a couple of yards out to around the 46-yard line. Tackled on the play by Naveen Daftari, the senior from Davis, California. Here's a look at the rest of the starters for the Penguins on offense.
Josh Kaysen, Warren JFK.
TJ Peterson, Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Tommy Zetz, Boardman, Ohio.
Marcus Mason, Potomac, Maryland.
Demetrius Sison, Grove City, PA.
Penguins looking at a second down from their own 46, swing pass to Kaysen. They're getting him involved in the offense early. He's into UC Davis territory to the Aggies 48, up initially defensively to help out on the stop. Kenny Griffin, a junior from Oakland, California. Tom Zetz came in having thrown for 391 yards, 5 touchdown passes, and 3 picks. His best game came 2 weeks ago against Maine when he threw for 178 yards, 3 scores, and was picked twice in the Penguins' 34-14 win.
And even against Maine, Tom Zetz, a bit of a roller coaster. He had made some pretty poor decisions, but then came back with streaks of 7-8 completions in a row, so you never know which Tom Zetz is going to show up.
Third and short. Zetz wants to go up top for the first down. Fires to Deke Eisen. Has the catch, has running room. It's a foot race to the end zone. No one's going to catch him. Touchdown, YSU. Tommy Zetz with his 6th touchdown strike of the year, but that was primarily Demetrius Eisen with his 6th grab of the season, his first touchdown of the year, and the Penguins strike quickly grabbing a 6-0 advantage.
And that's one of the things that Demetrius Eisen brings to the table is his ability to catch out of the backfield. For a second there, I was hesitating. I wasn't sure if Zetz was making a good call. He was under pressure, rolling out to his right, threw that ball, and look at Eisen go up and get it. A couple guys fall down, and it's a foot race to the end zone for a touchdown in the ball game for Youngstown State.
Yeah, not a good play defensively by Jonathan Barcy, number 30, and Chris Buck, number 27. They got caught in between, falling down around Eisen, and that allowed him to go in unmolested for the score. A 48-yard touchdown play, and the Penguins draw first blood, going out on top of UC Davis, 7-0. The Aggies will get it when we return.
This quarter of the Fox 1762 Penguin football game of the week is brought to you by Ohio Sports and Spine Institute.
Ohio Sports and Spine Institute is in the business of getting people better. They've assembled an expert team of physical therapists, athletic trainers, massotherapists, and on-site physicians to attain that goal. Don't be fooled by their name. Sports medicine is just part of what they do. Ohio Sports and Spine Institute also offers management of workman's comp and personal injuries, post-surgical rehabilitation, and pain management. For help with an athletic injury, chronic pain, or rehab, call the expert team of physicians and therapists at Ohio Sports and Spine Institute.
You'll feel like a celebrity when you ride in a Fab limousine. No matter the occasion, a wedding, homecoming, or prom, or a trip to your favorite sporting event, Fab Limousines has vehicles to suit every need. Feel like a celebrity. Ride in style with a Fab limousine. Also check out Fab's new division, Fabulous Tours. Call 797-TRIP for details.
Let the good times roll. The USA should be seen in a Fab limousine. Fab limousines.
If you're looking to buy a new home or refinance your present one, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU? The Associated School Employees Credit Union, serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best home loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
So Youngstown State travels 75 yards in just 4 plays. The final play to cap off the series, a 48-yard pass from Tom Zetz to Demetrius Eisen. It's the longest pass play this season for YSU. And the Penguins are just the second team to score in the first quarter against the Aggies, who will now get the ball for the first time. Back deep awaiting the kickoff, Nevin Bergen and Jonathan Barcy. Joe Bishop puts it in play. This will be Barcy from the 6. Stopped shy of the 20 by Jeff Koval. And the Aggies of UC Davis will put it in play for the first time. This is a team which is averaging 371 yards a game offensively this season. There is a flag down, however, on the return. Here's a look at our officiating crew for the day. Our referee is Jerry Frump. The umpire, Mike Stumberg. Tom Stapleton will serve as our linesman today. Pat Brown, the line judge. Don Cunningham, our side judge. Field judge, Paul Valina. And our back judge today to round out the crew is Tom
Block in
Healy.
the back. Number 28 on the return team. Half the distance from the spot of the foul. First down.
Well, not the way you want to begin the contest for UC Davis. A team playing its 4th straight road game, and they still have one more left before they get to play at home. They'll be at Cal Poly in their next game, which is 2 weeks from today. John Grant at quarterback. From just shy of his own 10. First down give to Alex Garfio. Garfio, the senior from Ventura, California, leads the team in rushing with 132 yards on the ground and 39 carries. Here's a look at the Aggies starting offense. Along that offensive line, Elliot Vallejo, a transfer from UCLA, probably the team's best pro prospect at 6'7" and 315. John Grant leads the offense. He has 5 touchdown passes this season. As far as the running backs, we've seen Alex Garfio, the team's leading rusher. Tony Kays, 10 receptions last week in the shutout at Montana State. Brandon Rice, a wideout in motion. Grant gonna throw for Kays, and he dropped the football. That is a rarity. A year ago, Kays caught a school record 93 passes for 1,213 yards. And again, a week ago, he had 10 grabs for 143 yards and 3 touchdowns. Here's a look at how the Penguins will counter defensively.
Chris Gofford, Chicago, Illinois.
Bob Perez, Navarre, Ohio.
Odell Jackson, Rochester, New York.
Jason Perry, Cleveland, Ohio.
John Cotton, Hayward, California.
Jeff Cobalt, Austin Tom Fitch.
Grant to throw. Garfield with the grab. Hutchinson makes the tackle shy of the first down. The Aggies had been converting 54% of their third down opportunities through the first 3 games this season, but they are stopped there. And here's a look at the rest of the YSU starters on defense.
Marty Hutchinson, Newton Falls, Ohio.
James Terry, Woodbridge, Virginia.
Michael Savage, White Plains, New York.
Jim Phelan, Chicago, Illinois.
Blake Harrison, Tampa, Florida.
So in to punt it away for the Aggies will be Gabe Ellis. This will be his 13th punt of the season. He's averaging 38 yards per kick. Back deep for Youngstown State will be TJ Peterson. He has yet to return a punt this season. Peterson falls to the ground, making the fair catch. And the Penguins will begin right around their own 37-yard line as UC Davis goes 3 and out on its opening series.
Yeah, textbook start for Youngstown State. They got the ball first, went right down the field, scored a touchdown. Their defense comes in with the help of a penalty on the kickoff return, pins UC Davis deep in their own territory. They can't get anything done on offense, and the result is YSU with pretty good field position.
Coming in, the Penguins had been averaging 309 yards a game offensively. They only needed 4 plays to score their first touchdown of the day on a 75-yard journey. Now from the 38. Mason, who did not play a week ago at Penn State nursing a sore hamstring, is met immediately with his second carry of the day. As far as UC Davis is concerned, its defense this season yielding 17.5 points a game. Their best down lineman is John Falatoese. Mike Ing leads the team in sacks with 3. David Heckman, the little linebacker for the Aggies, has already returned an interception for a touchdown. And maybe the best man in the secondary for UC Davis, Nevin Bergen. He is a preseason second-team All-American. Zetz throws, has Ison again, bounces off 1 tackle, gets the first down as he moves into Aggies territory, moving right across the 50, giving Youngstown State a first down.
The offense doing a good job of reading what they're seeing, taking a look, taking what the defense will give them. The defense lining up with 8 guys in the box. It's going to be hard going trying to run against the defense when you got all those guys up front. So they go to the air and they go to Ison out of the backfield, and they're connecting for a first down.
For Zetz, off to a torrid start, 4 of 4 through the air. The YSU quarterback is now thrown for 85 yards. That's the second time today he has found Demetrius Ison. Now from just shy of the UC Davis 49. Toss on the option to Mason. Tried to get away from Tyler Pringle. Was able to momentarily, but Pringle got just enough to Mason to trip him up. But still, the Penguins tailback runs the ball down to the Aggies 43 for a gain of about 6. Let's now check in with our other member of today's broadcast crew on the sideline, Chad Krispinski. Chad?
Well, I'll tell you what, guys, something we've grown pretty accustomed to here at Stambaugh Stadium, especially the last 2 ball games, that is a little precipitation, as evidence if you take a look at the stands over in the home side of the field. Lots of ponchos out there. It's wet, strong wind. We'll see how that affects things. Back to you.
Penguins looking at a second down from the UC Davis 43. Zetz quickly throws, has Rory Berry, and he's got the first down. Tackled on the play by the Aggies, Nevin Bergen and Chris Buck for Rory Berry, his 6th reception of the season. And so far, Zetz remains perfect on the day through the air.
Yeah, we all know what Tom Zetz is capable of. So far, so good, making pretty good decisions, reading the defense. And defense is tremendous. A lot of talent there, especially up front. All their starters back from last year. Some all-conference guys up front. So YSU's offensive line going to have their hands full, but so far they're holding those guys back.
Yeah, UC Davis's defense has yielded a little better than 198 yards a game to the opposition through the air. Swing pass to TJ Peterson. Runs it inside the 35. Tackled by the Aggies' Nevin Bergen. For Peterson, his first grab of the day, his 10th of the season. He now has at least one reception in 15 straight games for the Penguins.
And again, something we're just not used to, and that's Youngstown State going to the perimeter, putting it up early in the ball game, spreading out, getting it to different receivers. But when the defense forces you to do that, sometimes that's what you got to do.
Penguins with a 2nd and short. They'll go back to the ground. Mason with running room. Spins off a one tackle. Finally knocked down at the 28-yard line, but he's going to have enough for a first down. And the Penguins caught the front four of the Aggies napping that time with the quick hitter over center.
Yeah, it's nice to have Marcus Mason back in the backfield. Everyone's wondering, though, how good is that hamstring? Hamstring injuries, they're a funny thing. It's a lot of mental, has a lot to do with your mental attitude. When is he going to be able to really turn on the jets and see if everything is 100%? We don't know yet. Hopefully we'll see it soon.
Marcus Mason, the transfer from Illinois, already with 2 100-yard rushing games this season. Swing pass incomplete, intended for TJ Peterson. That's not Tom Zetz's fault, but it's still his first incompletion of the day. Penguins came in averaging 167 yards a game through the air. Very close to a lateral, but you saw the ball did have that forward slant to it, which makes it an incompletion.
Jay Peterson maybe just getting a little bit ahead of himself, didn't keep his eyes on that ball, didn't secure the catch. He was looking to see where he's going to make his first move.
And you get the feeling the Penguins may have the advantage in the corners with speed. Zetz off the play action, pays the price. James Amos was there initially, and Zetz then got bent over backwards. Zetz not noted for his rushing ability.
Yeah, that time setting up, didn't see anything downfield. He got sandwiched. There you see number 11, James Amos, get him low, and then Pringle come in and nail him above. 6 foot, 205-pound sophomore linebacker.
And the loss brings up a 3rd and long for the Penguins. Youngstown State this season has converted 51% of its 3rd down opportunities. That's McQuante Gibson in motion. Zetz with time. Irizarry there to make the catch inside the 10. Louis Irizarry, the transfer from Ohio State, makes the grab at the 5, and the Penguins have a 1st and goal thanks to Irizarry's 6th reception of the season.
All Irizarry that time. Zetz had pretty good protection. Could stand in the pocket, look for his open man. Maybe threw that a little bit too out in front of Irizarry, but look at him stretch. And that's what you have when you have a 6'5", 255-pound tight end that's not afraid to go over the middle, not afraid to stretch things out. He can snag passes like that.
Gain of 28, Irizarry's longest reception of the season. And YSU knocking on the door against UC Davis. Mason stood up right at the 5. Nice play by Nevin Bergen, the senior from San Diego. That limits Mason's effort to only a gain of a yard.
Nice tackle by Bergen. 2nd team all-conference pick last year. He's one of those guys on that defense they're counting on looking to ranked high in terms of his position across the country. That time he proved it. Nice tackle, solo tackle taken on Mason and shutting him down.
11th play of the drive coming up for Youngstown. The series began back on the Penguins' 38. Zetz wants to throw for another 6. Overthrows his tight end, Derek Bush. But you want to talk about balance on this drive for YSU. Out of the 11 plays, 5 on the ground. That was the 6th pass. They've done a good job of mixing it up so far.
Yeah, very consistent, very balanced. Give credit to the offensive coaches for Youngstown State. Taking advantage of what they're seeing on the field, making the proper adjustments, but they haven't gotten in the end zone yet. Let's see what UC Davis can do defensively to try and stop this drive.
From the 4 now. 3rd down and goal. Ison in motion. Zetz looking for Peterson, running out of time and real estate. Throws, and the pass is going to be incomplete, nearly intercepted by Jonathan Barcy. Tried to stay in bounds, could not. So the Aggies defense has now forced Youngstown State into a decision on 4th and goal from the 4.
Youngstown State maybe dodging a bullet, and that's what we talked about. Tommy Zetz maybe forcing it just a little bit too much, running out of real estate. He's rolling out to his right. Looking, doesn't see anything under the pressure, decides just to drop that off and nearly picked off in the front of the end zone there.
So Brian Palmer will come out to attempt a field goal. Hit his only attempt of the season last week in the loss at Penn State from 33 yards out. This one much shorter, a 21-yard attempt out of the hold of Todd Rowan. Palmer, the product of Mineral Ridge, Ohio, is true. And with just over 6 minutes to go, Youngstown State has increased its advantage over UC Davis to 10-0.
As little as 16 months, you could be starting an exciting career in the aviation industry with aviation maintenance technician training from PIA at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Classes begin soon, but space is limited, so call PIA right now. Give us 16 months and we'll give you the skills to begin a high-paying career at our newest campus at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Call PIA and schedule a tour right now.
It only happens once a year, and it's going on now at Sweeney's. Hey, folks, I'm Tom Park, and I'm talking about below GMS pricing on remaining 06s during our closeout. In fact, you can buy a brand new Chevy HHR for only $14,886 or a new Cobalt SS for only $15,705. Don't miss below GMS pricing. Only at Sweeney's. Remember, the best deal is a Sweeney deal. A mile south of Southern Park Mall in Boardman.
We designed Toyotas to be the most fuel-efficient cars on the planet.
With 9 different models that get 30 mpg or better, including Toyota Corolla, now at 41 miles per gallon, the versatile new RAV4, the all-new totally affordable Yaris, and the amazing Highlander Hybrid at 33 mpg in the city, now with just announced 2.9 financing. It's a great deal on a great SUV.
We're building a better Toyota every day.
Toyota, moving forward.
You want local news, but you don't want to stay up late.
Demand more.
More in-depth coverage of the stories that impact you.
No, sir, definitely by no means. Never done any violence. My property, get off of it. Touch them again, you're in trouble.
More local sports action from all your favorite schools.
Whether it's from the other side of the county or right in your own backyard, First News at 10 gives you more.
It's 1 full hour of local news before the rest.
Think first, think Fox.
First News at 10 on Fox 1762.
Well, today's game is being brought to you in part by the YSU Bookstore. It carries a huge selection of YSU clothing and memorabilia for every Penguins fan. And by University Courtyard Apartments, offering all the comforts YSU students need to feel at home. For the Penguins, their second scoring drive of the opening quarter is a 13-play effort covering 58 yards. It results in a 21-yard field goal by Brian Palmer. Bishop's kickoff, fielded by Barcy. Bishop giving chase. Barcy still on his feet, now into YSU territory, and finally knocked down by Dorian Chenault. So the Aggies get great starting field position to give its offense a chance to get back in the game.
Yeah, and that's just the spark that UC Davis was looking for. One heck of a return. Nice setup by the front men. Youngstown State just not showing up on that kickoff return, on that kickoff coverage. And there's looking number 30, Jonathan Barcy, 6'1", 205-pound senior. Just reading his blocks, looking for openings, making nice cuts, nice moves, and good speed. Great field position to start this series.
Last time the Aggies had the ball, they went 3 and out. Now they begin from the YSU 44. Give Marcus Nolan his first carry of the day. Coming into the game, Nolan had run the ball 29 times for 99 yards. That includes 1 touchdown. Last week in the win at Montana State, Nolan a dozen carries for 31 yards. And we talked about the disparity pass to run for the Aggies. They came in averaging 280 yards a game offensively through the air, only 90 yards on the ground.
Yeah, we've seen the attempts are roughly the same, passing versus rushing, but they obviously are much more successful putting it up through the air as you described in terms of yardage.
Gain of 4 by Nolan. Second down now for UC Davis from the Penguins 40. Rice in motion. Back to Nolan. Stop right around the 36. Hutchinson and Koval in on the stop for YSU.
Again, a key matchup in today's ball game is our D-line, Youngstown State's D-line versus UC Davis O-line. There's some big boys on that offensive line. These guys can play. A lot of returners, a lot of guys with experience. They know how to play well together. Our D-line, Youngstown State's going to have their hands full all evening long.
From the 36, third down for the Aggies. K's in motion. Grant finds the setback. Grant Ivisian. And Ivisian with the reception and the first down, first of the day for UC Davis.
That's one of the things that worried me is how well UC Davis converts on third down. Last week against Montana State, 12 of 18. Throughout the season, they're over 50%. Doesn't get much better than that.
Now, coming into the day, John Grant had completed a little better than 55% of his passes. He hasn't put up big passing numbers yet. He's just 2 of 3 for 9 yards. Wants to go back up top. This time cannot connect with Chris Carter. Carter came in as the team's leading receiver with 16 grabs. His best game came against TCU earlier this season. 6 receptions, 109 yards, both career highs for the redshirt freshman out of Danville, California. So the ball returns to the YSU 33 for UC Davis. Grant with time. Delivers to Rice, but he's quickly hit at the 29, so a gain of only 4. And right now the Penguins defense doing a good job of keeping everything that UC Davis wants to do in the passing attack in front of them.
Keeping them in front of them. But like we talked about, the key matchup is the Youngstown State defensive line. And you get a look at it here. John Grant has all day. He had all the time in the world to stand in that pocket, look for an open receiver, and that's exactly what he did. Yeah, you're right, Youngstown State converged on him quickly, but still, that's too much time. Eventually, he's going to have his way and do some damage.
Brandon Rice with his 8th grab of the season. It brings up a third down for the Aggies. Grant looks for Rice, overthrows him. Coverage by Chris Goffer of YSU. And a decision now for head coach Bob Biggs. A field goal attempt would in essence be about 46 yards. And I don't think the Ags want to attempt a field goal here. Emmanuel Benjamin would be the kicker, his longest attempt of the season that he made, 37 yards in the opener against Northern Colorado, but he'll stay on the sideline. 4th down. UC Davis 1 of 4 this season on 4th down attempts. Grant delivers, has his man Chris Miller, and he's got the first down at the 20 of the Penguins.
Nice execution by UC Davis. You get a good look at number 6, Chris Miller, knowing exactly where he had to go, knowing exactly where the first down was. Protection may be breaking down just a little bit for John Grant, but he's able to find Miller. The defender's there, Johnny on the spot. But Miller knew how far he had to go, and he got far enough, picked up the first down, keeping that drive alive.
Made the catch in front of Bob Perez. Screen. Nolan in trouble. Dropped at the 22 by James Terry. The Penguins' 3rd leading tackler. Now here's the instance too. We've talked about the Penguins defense a little bit so far today. A week ago they lost their leading tackler, Jeremiah Wright, to a knee injury in the loss at Penn State. So YSU trying to make up for that loss, and James Terry could be the guy that they rely upon to make the big plays defensively.
Yeah, Terry has a tremendous amount of ability. He's going to have to come up big, really make some big plays. Like you said, Jeremiah Wright, a huge hole to fill, not only on the field, but on the sidelines. Big spiritual leader.
Grant pressured by Terry. Throws to Case, Touchdown, UC Davis. Tony Kays with his 4th touchdown reception of the season. That's 4 now in his last 2 games.
Kays coming into his own. He was a little bit beat up to start this season with an ankle injury. Showed up last season with that tremendous effort we talked about. 3 touchdowns last week. Now with his first of the ball game again against Youngstown State. That's a matchup that we're going to have to watch all evening long. John Grant to his wide receiver, number 85, Tony Kays.
Benjamin on for the extra point, 10 of 12 this season for PATs. He'll kick it out of the hold of Tony Kays. It wasn't pretty, but Benjamin got it through, and with 2:14 to go in the opening quarter, we've got what is shaping up to be a shootout in Youngstown. So the Aggies have now cut a 10-point deficit down to just 3. And Todd, this was one of the keys of the game. You've got to match scores when you get the football. UC Davis dug itself a little bit of hole, but there you see the well-delivered pass by Grant, and Kays able to beat Bob Perez to the end zone.
It all starts with that kickoff return. Great job by UC Davis, setting up excellent field position for their offense. They didn't have far to go when you get the ball on the 40-yard line like that, but they took advantage of it, and give credit. They went for it on 4th down and converted. They converted on a 3rd down, so they get it done offensively when they have to.
Well, for the Ags, they go 44 yards in 9 plays. The final 22 yards covered on the pass from Grant to Kays. And just like that, it's YSU 10, UC Davis 7. Back deep for the Penguins. Again, number 17, Tyler Griffin. And he is flanked by number 14, Miles Williams. Griffin's going to catch it in and run it out of the end zone. So the Penguins will start on their own 20-yard line. Let's send it back down the sideline where Chad Krasinski is standing by. Chad?
I'll tell you what, guys, Coach Haycock talked about it all week long. He said although that this team, UC Davis, has traveled a lot through the first parts of the season, he didn't expect them to be fatigued, and they certainly travel well. Several thousand fans accompanying them here to Stambaugh Stadium, including the band. In fact, when the Youngstown State band came out, Cal Poly, and I should say UC Davis, was kind of waving them off and said, we're better than you, so the bands are competing as well. Back to you guys.
Todd, we've talked about that. Nice to see a band travel with the football team. Zetz with a little miscommunication there. He has to eat the football back on the 17-yard line.
Yeah, quite a road trip this UC Davis has had to go through to start this season. But you're right, Rob. I'm walking around before the game. There's a lot of people wearing the UC Davis clothing, so a lot of people made this trip. Great job supporting your team and making such a long-distance trip, traveling across the country to come and see a great matchup here in Youngstown, Ohio.
Well, they were talking about a grand slam in time zones because they've already had to play in Colorado, in Texas, last week in Montana, and now in Ohio. Zetz off the mark as he looked for T.J. Peterson and pressured that time by the Aggies, James Amos.
Yeah, I believe the only time zone they haven't played in is their home time zone. And they won't even accomplish that at their stadium. It's going to be when they play Cal Poly, which, considering all the traveling they've done, you can almost consider that a home game.
Now 3rd and long, now confronting Youngstown State. Zetz is now misfired on his last 3 pass attempts. Directing traffic. Catch by Peterson. Nice job to stay inbounds and get the first down out to the Penguins' 32-yard line. That's a gain of 14.
T.J. Peterson does that better than anybody. Reacting to his quarterback who might be in trouble, maybe coming out of a route, breaking out of a route, trying to get open, trying to help out his quarterback. He did just that. Zetz was able to find him, connect on the pass.
Zetz now 8 of 12 through the air for 138 yards. TJ Peterson with his second grab. And the Penguins go back to the ground with McQuante Gibson, the transfer from Kentucky. He runs the ball out to YSU's 38-yard line. Gibson, through the first 3 weeks of the season, had run the ball 21 times for 122 yards. Limited only 14 yards rushing last week in a loss at Penn State. Well, about a half a minute left in the opening quarter. And this has been pretty much what we expected. A lot of scoring out of these two offenses. Ison, the fullback, out to the 43. That'll move the chains and give YSU a first down. Ison has not run the ball that much this year.
And that's one of his longer runs that we've seen throughout his entire career. We've seen him have all of his, or most of his success catching the ball out of the backfield. That time on the quick hitter, right into the heart of that UC Davis defense, and they pick up a first down.
So the gain of 6 by Ison on his first carry of the day will be the final play of the opening quarter. So two teams looking to make a statement in Division I AA and solidify themselves as a playoff contender this season. Through one from Stambaugh Stadium, it is Youngstown State 10 and UC Davis 7. The second quarter is coming up.
If you're tired of getting the runaround when applying for an auto loan, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU, the Associated School Employees Credit Union serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best auto loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
When you need a law firm for any reason, there are many considerations.
But there are two that matter more than most.
First, have you ever heard of the firm? Do you know anyone who's used them?
And most importantly, do they win and get good settlements for their clients?
After all, it's your legal problem and you want to win.
Maybe that's why people turn to Beatrice Harshman.
The bottom line is winning.
And winning is what you want.
No one trashes Youngstown. Youngstown.
Littering is serious business.
Is there a problem, officer? I had my seatbelt on.
Your ticket's for littering, for the bag of trash and the cigarette butt. It's unsightly and dangerous.
You've been charged with illegally dumping. This is punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service, or jail time.
I told you not to illegally dump.
Littering is a crime. Be responsible or suffer the time.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
This quarter of the Fox 1762 YSU Penguin Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Kernan Insurance.
On an overcast and somewhat rainy evening in Northeast Ohio, Youngstown State with a 10-7 lead over UC Davis as we head to the second quarter of play. Penguins will begin on their own 43-yard line with a first down. Sixth play of the drive coming up for Youngstown State. And it'll be a pass. Gibson with a good block, allowing Zetz with some time. He decides to run it out close to midfield where he is finally chased down by James Amos.
Good coverage by that UC Davis secondary. Zetz had the time, like you said, thanks to the Gibson block, but he didn't see anything downfield, decided to tuck that ball and run, making a good decision. Picking up 7 yards on the run.
Zetz came in the third leading ball carrier for the Penguins. Not noted as being fleet of foot. Did a good job there. Managed to pick up 7. And now from right around midfield, movement along the front. Amos jumped prematurely. Deep pass for TJ Peterson on what appears to be a free play for YSU's offense. So we'll get the indication from Jerry Frump.
Looked like 11, James Amos, the left defensive end.
On the defense, number 11, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So the second flag of the day against the Aggies. They're averaging 7 penalties a game coming into this matchup. Penguins get a first down the easy way. Let's send it back down the sideline for Chad.
Guys, I'll tell you what, I peeked my head into the Penguin huddle on the other side of the field, and they're urging the defense to step it up. They said this team puts up great numbers, UC Davis that is. They said we can't let them score. Obviously, defensive players saying offense, we got to put up a lot more than this. Back up to you.
Gibson looking to add his rushing total. Knocked out of play by Barcy. But Quante Gibson, whose best game this season came in the opener against Division II Slippery Rock, when he had 10 carries for 85 yards and a touchdown, gives the Penguins yet another first down.
And Rob, Chad kind of touches upon what we've talked about, and how you have to score every time you get your hands on the ball. The UC Davis offense is just too powerful, too potent. They can score at will, it seems, based on their stats. So Youngstown State really needs to put it up, put it in the end zone every time they get their hands on the football.
14-yard gain by Gibson gives him 19 yards rushing on the day. Minute into the second quarter. Back to Gibson. More running room. Inside the 20 and down to the 16-yard line. And that's a nice change of pace. Marcus Mason got the start. And now Gibson, who has more size, has shown a good ability of speed here.
Yeah, more size, maybe not as much speed, but he's very effective on the ground. Coach Haycock does a good job of trying to adjust to the defenses, put in the guy he thinks is going to have the success. Right now, it's Hugh Gibson finding the seams, good job of blocking.
But a nice move right there to get around Nero Evero. And the gain of 15 gives the Penguins a first down at the UC Davis 16. Toss to Gibson. Breaks free at the 5, and he's in. Touchdown, YSU. How did McQuinte Gibson find his way into the end zone?
Lots of traffic, a lot of guys are running the zone play to the right, a lot of blockers. Gibson just looking for the seam. It looked like he ran into somebody, was being brought down, but the knee never touched. He sneaked into the end zone, caught everybody off guard. Very elusive. He's got people chasing him down.
Nice job of following his blocking, though.
Running into people and maintaining his balance and staying off the turf.
Look at the balance by Gibson.
And you can tell, you can see the UC Davis defenders maybe looking around thinking he was down. You got to keep going until you hear that whistle.
Palmer's extra point is good. In a minute and a half in the second quarter, YSU has added to its lead. The Penguins go up 17-7 over UC Davis.
This is unbelievable. It's a lifetime gone. We'll make it right, John.
For the past 20 years, I've been their insurance agent. But not today.
Life comes at you fast. Nobody understands better than Nationwide Insurance.
Good luck to the Penguins this football season from the Kernan Insurance Agency. Contact us at 629-2000.
Or at KernanOnline.com.
You'll find all the comforts a student needs to feel at home at the University Courtyard Apartments at YSU. These 1-, 2-, and 4-bedroom apartments are fully furnished, have private bedrooms, and fully equipped kitchens. The all-inclusive rent covers all utilities, including basic cable TV and high-speed internet access. There's convenient free parking, and the YSU campus shuttle stops right at the front door. Study hard, live easy at the University Courtyard Apartments. Current or future YSU students call today or visit ucyoungstown.com for more information.
35 years ago, when I opened my dealership in Austintown, my dad came alongside to help me service the cars that I was selling.
Now I have the same privilege as selling and servicing the customers as the grandson and son of Bob and Chuck Eddy, along with my Uncle Clay.
So if it's a Chrysler, Dodge, or Jeep, come to the #1 volume full-line Chrysler store in the Valley and see why so many are making the switch.
35 years and 4 generations later, my family wants to say thank you with an anniversary sales event at Bob and Chuck Eddy's. And remember, you can't beat us.
You want local news, but you don't want to stay up late.
Demand more.
More in-depth coverage of the stories that impact you.
No, sir, definitely by no means. Never done any violence. My property, get off of it. Touch them again, you're in trouble.
More local sports action from all your favorite schools.
Whether it's from the other side of the county or right in your own backyard, First News at 10 gives you more.
It's 1 full hour of local news before the rest.
Think first, think Fox.
First News at 10 on Fox 1762.
Well, YSU answers the Aggies touchdown drive with an 80-yard journey in 9 plays. McQuante Gibson racing the final 16 yards to the end zone for his 3rd rushing touchdown of the year and the Penguins' 7th rushing touchdown this season as a team. The ensuing kick grabbed by Barcy inside the 5. Brings it out over the 25. Vince Gliotta in on the stop for the special teams. But McQuante Gibson just kept getting better on that drive for YSU. He had to carry a 14 yards, 15 yards, and then the 16-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, he was really getting into a rhythm with the offensive line. You know, he didn't start the game. He was thrown in there, but he really took advantage of his opportunity, showing great moves, good strength, great balance on that last touchdown run.
Well, we knew it was run versus pass. YSU able to run. Now we'll see if the Aggies can come back and pass like they did in the last series. John Grant so far today, 6 of 9 passing, 41 yards and a touchdown. But they'll go to the ground with Garfio. And he has nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Stopped right at the line of scrimmage. Hutchinson and Terry in on the stop for YSU's defense. For Alex Garfio, just his 2nd carry of the day.
Hutchinson and Terry on the tackle, but it was 45 Brian Malott who got the penetration. Was in the backfield causing chaos.
Grant from the gun, more than likely going to go up top. Does, finds Kays, but the pass a little too tall and incomplete. That's one of those as a receiver you go back and say, look, don't hang me to dry, because that's exactly what Grant just did to his top receiver.
Yeah, it's hard not to think that as a receiver when you're in the middle of the field like that. Ball just a little bit high, and you'll see 3 Youngstown State defenders closing in on.
And really, Rashawn Simons could have laid the lumber to Kays if he wanted to. Simons, one of the linebackers, filling in for the injured Jeremiah Wright. 3rd down now for UC Davis. 1 of 3 so far today. Grant going to try and run for it. And does. Scampers out of bounds as Jeff Koval was giving chase. Nice heads-up play by Grant. The senior from Pacific Grove, California, keeps the drive going for the Aggies.
Yeah, great job by Grant that time. Fairly well defended, fairly well blocked, that is, by the offensive line. As it broke down, though, Grant decided to tuck that ball and run. He saw where the first down marker was. There's Koval making the chase. He saw the marker, ran out of bounds, 1st down for UC Davis.
Now, the smart thing there is he knew to get out of bounds and live for another day. Swing to Kays. Terry giving chase. Grabs him at the 41 and stops the play after a gain of only about a yard.
Nice job by Terry pursuing to the football. Defeats a chop block, and you'll see the pass to Kays. You'll get a look at the Youngstown State defender, number 8 for Youngstown State, Jarvis Richards, who 2 gaps the block. He tries to make Kays make a decision. He hesitates for just a second, and that allowed James Terry to come down and make that tackle.
So a gain of about a yard at most. Grant off a play action. looks and has his man. Throws to Luke McDonough, the tight end. For McDonough, just his third reception of the season. But it's a big one, taking the ball into YSU territory and giving UC Davis a first down.
McDonough, nice looking tight end, 6'4", 240. He runs more like a receiver. Getting behind him, Dorian Chenault, keeping his eyes on the football, making the catch, and then staying in bounds. Nice job.
There's a good look at the redshirt freshman out of La Habra, California. Gain of 21. Grant swings it to Case. He wants the throw. Got a man deep. Catch is made by Cale Turner, and he's in. Touchdown, UC Davis. So the lateral and then the pass. And the trickery pays off for the Aggies as Case finds Turner.
Nice play call by UC Davis, taking advantage of a very aggressive Youngstown State defense. There's the pass to Case. Everyone bid on that. The secondary ran in. That allowed number 81, Cale Turner, wide open, made the catch, strolls into the end zone.
Turner's second touchdown grab of the season. Benjamin for the extra point now. And the Aggies respond. And as we had talked about, you've got to match scores in this one. You cannot allow one team to get 2 scores up. And UC Davis responds. They've now cut the deficit to 3 at 17-14. Penguins will get the ball. Can they answer? The shootout continues.
The Vindicator has an opportunity for you to earn extra cash. We're now contracting adult newspaper carriers in your area. Join the Vindicator delivery team and work just 3 hours a day. Be your own boss and earn extra money for your family's next vacation or that new car you've been wanting.
Being a Vindicator carrier gives me the opportunity to work with my children. We take pride in what we do and we really enjoy servicing our customers.
The Vindicator is contracting adult newspaper carriers in your area. Call today to apply.
It's Andrew Cycles, the Power Sports Giant Annual Open House ATV Sale. 5 days only this Wednesday through Sunday. Gigantic savings on over 200 ATVs. Andrew's, the Tri-State's largest volume dealer, invites you to test drive before you buy. The hottest models from Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, and Kawasaki. It's Andrew's Open House. $1,200 off on select ATVs. No money down and payments as low as $34 a month. 5 days only. The Open House ATV Sale at Andrew Cycles. The Power Sports Giant. Route 62, Salem, Ohio.
If you're looking to buy a new home or refinance your present one, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU? The Associated School Employees Credit Union, serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best home loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
Well, the Aggies used 6 plays to go 73 yards. Tony Kays, after catching a swing, throws to Cale Turner for a 38-yard option pass. And just like that, the Aggies are to within 3. Tyler Griffin with the return, stumbles out over the 25, up to the 27. And now it's YSU's turn to answer. Only once so far has a defense held. And that was YSU's defense on the opening drive for UC Davis when the Aggies went 3 and out. Since then, we have had 4 consecutive possessions, which have resulted in at least a field goal.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks here in this first half. You're right. You got to see who's going to answer, who's going to stop who. Who's going to continue to put the ball in the end zone?
The question, which defense is going to show up first today? Marcus Mason returns for the Penguins at tailback, and he's got the football. And he's got running room. It's now turned into a foot race. Mason cut from behind by the Aggies, Jonathan Barcy. But Mason wastes little time in making sure that people know that he's back in the game for McQuante Gibson.
And you can see the difference in the running styles. Marcus Mason, more of a speedster, a little bit quicker, making more moves. McQuante Gibson thinks a little bit more about where he's going to run the ball. More powerful, but Mason answering any questions we might have had about that sore hamstring, showing pretty good speed. He got caught from behind, so we don't know. Maybe he didn't turn it on all the way. We don't know yet, but we'll take it any way we can get it.
32-yard run by Mason. Ison now the ball carrier. Gets it close to the 35 of the Aggies. Let's send it back down to the sideline, and we'll check in with Chad Krispinski. Chad?
I'll tell you what, guys, prior to the Penguin offense taking the field, the UC Davis defensive huddle really was comprised of two things: wrapping up tacklers and also filling in these running gaps. More than one of the defenders said there are huge gaps all over the field that the Penguins are having an easy time. Evidence of that many times throughout the course of this first half. Guys?
Well, that's easy to see on the last two runs by the Penguins, and even the series before, in which McQuante Gibson feasted on the Aggies defense. Back to the ground, it's Ison again. Hit by Tyler Pringle. However, there is a flag down on the play. YSU using the fullback a little bit more in the running scheme than we've seen through the first 3 weeks of the season.
And having some success. A nice looking run by Demetrius Ison. Unfortunately, the holding call will bring it back.
Holding. Number 50 on the offense. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Replay, second down.
So YSU flagged for the first time today. Penguins' 15th penalty of the season. That has not been a problem in 2006 for YSU, but it is a problem there, taking the ball back to the UC Davis 46. Zetz on the run, pressured to throw it immediately. Good job by Chris Buck to force what UC Davis says should be intentional grounding. The coaching staff wants an intentional grounding call. And now they're going to get the flag because it has been thrown, and it was a late flag. Zetz was not out of the pocket. And there you see head coach John Haycock pleading his case.
Intentional grounding. Number 24 in the offense. Fouls a loss of down at the spot of the foul.
And that'll take the ball back to the YSU 41. You see Tyler Pringle in there quickly. What you're able to see there is he didn't get out of the pocket, Todd, and I think that was part of the problem. And when you see the pass, there's no one in red around the football.
Yeah, 27, Chris Buck was in there in a heartbeat. Didn't allow Zetz to roll out completely. He was still between the tackles, and like you said, nobody home where he threw that one. A late call, but probably a good one.
Give to Justin Reams. Hit quickly by James Amos. So the Penguins have to give it up for the first time. First possession today in which YSU does not score.
Maybe mental mistakes, but shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties, a holding penalty and an intentional grounding penalty, knocks Youngstown State way back.
Joe Bishop averaging almost 39 yards per punt this season. He'll kick it deep to Cale Turner. Turner from the 19. This will be his best return of the season. Finally bumped out of bounds by the punter, Joe Bishop, but there is a flag down. Prior to that, Turner's longest punt return of the year covered just 6 yards. It's going to be a wasted effort, however. third flag of the day.
We have an
against
illegal
the
block
Aggies.
in the back. Number 23 on the return team. During the return, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So the call goes against Kenneth Brown, a redshirt freshman out of Paramount, California. And now UC Davis will begin at the 12-yard line. Second worst starting field position of the day for the Aggies. They go to the ground with Nolan. Tackled by Miles Banford, a junior from Anaheim, California. Playing against a lot of kids he may have seen in high school, now with YSU.
A nice tackle by Banford. He was actually chop blocked to start that play. Nice block by the UC Davis receiver. But Banford doing a great job getting right back up, finding the ball carrier and making the tackle.
Gain out to around the 18-yard line, pick up nearly 6. Grant's going to run. Blake Halverson chases him out of play. Grant's going to be short of the first down.
Halverson chased him out of bounds, but it was 96 for Youngstown State. Michael Savage, 6'2", 290-pound sophomore, puts a nice swim move on the guard. Initially gets that pressure, forces Grant out of the pocket.
And now it is third down and short for the Aggies from their own 21. And John Grant's going to use a timeout. He'll stop play with 7:31 to go in the half.
It's their first time out of the half.
Well, you can vote for the DeBartolo Big 22 Player of the Year in the Youngstown area. All you have to do is go to WKBN.com, click on Sports to cast your vote for the best high school football player in the Mahoning and Shenango Valleys. That's the DeBartolo Big 22 Player of the Year Award. And at the end of this game, we're going to have to come up with our player of the game. And so far, a lot of guys have made statements in this through the first 2 quarters, Todd.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks, but both teams doing a good job of spreading the wealth. The special teams showing up, some nice kickoff returns, and some nice coverage, and a nice battle of field position. But the offense is really showing up in this first half, on the ground, through the air. It's everything we expected.
Right now, Youngstown State owns a 17-14 edge. Penguins have not trailed in this game. They've led by as many as 10 points. Our keys to the game, we felt, were going to be weather. That hasn't really played a factor yet. We knew it would be run versus pass, and you have to match scores. So far, that's kind of all fallen right into the line, Todd. And I think now the key is going to be finding some consistency defensively.
Yeah, some consistency.
Stop the music playing when the team breaks the huddle.
Now the official has spoken. Our referee, Jerry Frump, kind of warning about the playing of music. I thought that was all part of home field advantage.
Yeah, and I think he just enraged the crowd a little bit.
Well, off the timeout, 3rd and 1. Marcus Nolan looks as if he has the necessary yardage. He'll fall out to the 23, get the 2 to move the sticks for the Aggies.
And again, that's a claim to fame for UC Davis, doing a good job all season long converting on 3rd down, this time deep in their own territory, in a critical point in the ball game. Their defense was able to stop YSU on offense. Now they got the ball back, and like we said, that seesaw battle, you got to score every time you get your hands on the ball, and this is the opportunity UC Davis was looking for to maybe go ahead in this ball game.
Well, the Aggies now 3 of 5 on 3rd down opportunities here today. Grant going to dump it off to Nolan, who stumbles out to the 26-yard line. The turf monster got him that time. So a short gain on the dump off.
And that's too bad. for Nolan because he had a lot of daylight ahead of him. A nicely executed screen by UC Davis, sucking in all those defensive linemen. There's Nolan with the catch, turning around. And like you said, a turf monster gets his hands on him. He might still be running had it not.
Now Garfio and Nolan were in the backfield in the last play. Now it's Nolan all by himself with Rice in motion. Koval knocked down as he tried to come off the corner. Pass to Case. Kadara Jackson knocked the ball loose. Recovered by Youngstown State. Penguins get the game's first takeaway. They were even through 3 weeks of the season, but that's their 5th fumble recovery of the year defensively.
UC Davis was +4 coming into this ball game, so they've done a good job of holding on to the football. That time Case with the catch. He found the hole in the Youngstown State defense. Nice little pocket. Grant able to find him, but he can't hold on to that ball. You see Jackson doing a nice job. We've seen him do this all season long last year, and he's come on strong this season, forcing the turnover. YSU recovers an excellent field position.
Kadara Jackson, a Buck Buchanan nominee this season, is one of the best defenders in the country for 1AA. Now Zetz looking to cash in by going up top. Delivers. Irizarry makes the catch at the 18-yard line, tackled by Jonathan Barcy. And the Penguins are in the red zone.
Louis Irizarry really coming into his own. The coaching staff doing a good job of easing him into the system, letting him learn, letting him build up his playing time, and it's really starting to pay off. Another big catch for Youngstown State.
So the gain of a little more than 15 yards. Zetz is now thrown for 153 on the day. For Irizarry, his second grab of the contest. This is McQuante Gibson with running room. Cuts back to the 5. Down there after being tackled by Mike Ing, the defensive end. Now Gibson's going to come out. He's favoring his right leg a bit.
He takes the pitch, gets a nice block from his tight end. His other tight end getting a nice block, sealing the corner, trying to put the move. And he does, picks up a few more yards before being brought down by Bergen.
Boy, what a difference a turnover can make. As the Penguins now knocking on the door, looking to expand upon a 3-point lead. It's Marcus Mason to the goal line. Is he in? Yes! Touchdown YSU.
Nice job by Youngstown State, capitalizing on the turnover. They had very few yards to go to get that touchdown, but getting it done on the ground, in the air, hitting the tight end. Marcus Mason finishes it off in the end zone, and that's the last thing UC Davis wanted to happen. On the verge of falling down by 10 points with 5 minutes to go in the first half.
For Mason, his 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Ryan Palmer's extra point is good. And with 4:58 to go, YSU has regained its 10-point lead. It's now the Penguins 24 and UC Davis 14. Second quarter action continues when we return.
It only happens once a year, and it's going on now at Sweeney's. Hey, folks, I'm Tom Parker, and I'm talking about below GMS pricing on remaining 06s during our closeout. In fact, you can buy a brand new Chevy HHR for only $14,886 or a new Cobalt SS for only $15,705. Don't miss below GMS pricing. Only at Sweeney's. Remember, the best deal is a Sweeney deal. A mile south of Southern Park Mall in Boardman.
It's always been in the same location. One family's always owned it. The old world recipes have been passed down through generations. The atmosphere is warm and welcome. Casisa's MVR, the Mahoning Valley restaurant, has been a Youngstown tradition since 1927. The menu features delicious Italian specialties with Casisa's homemade sauces. Come in for lunch or dinner. Reserve the banquet rooms for a family party or any special event.
Come be a part of our family.
Cassice's MVR, Smoky Hollow at the YSU campus.
No one trashes Youngstown. Youngstown
Littering is serious business.
Is there a problem, officer? I had my seatbelt on.
Your ticket's for littering, for the bag of trash and the cigarette butt. It's unsightly and dangerous.
You've been charged with illegally dumping. This is punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service, or jail time.
I told you not to illegally dump.
Littering is a crime. Be responsible or suffer the time.
Hey, you like things that are free? Then check out the Review newspapers every Thursday at a location near you. The Review newspapers is available at more than 2,000 locations in Trumbull and Mahoning counties. Find local news, sports, and editorials from your community every Thursday in the Review. Log on to thereviewNewspapers.com to find out where to get the Review, or read it for free online in our easy-to-read newspaper format. Pick up your free copy today. The Review newspapers. Nobody covers more local news, period.
Youngstown State wastes little time capitalizing on the game's first turnover. They cover 34 yards in 3 plays, 5-yard touchdown run by Marcus Mason after the defense set it up with a fumble recovery. Bishop's kick will carry into the end zone and will be down by Nevin Bergen. So the Aggies will start from the 20, once again trailing by 10.
Key drive for UC Davis, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. Plenty of time for them to go down the field. They'll start the second half with the football.
Well, that's the thing with that type of an offense. I mean, they like to spread it out a little bit, work the sidelines. You still got 2 timeouts and a little less than 5 minutes to go. There's not a time to panic at all. I mean, the Ags have been down by 10 so far in this game one other time and clawed their way back to within 3. Garfio back in as the single setback. They try to set up the screen, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Brandon Rice. Penguins got some decent pressure, and I'm not sure if they wanted to maybe drop it off to Alex Garfio or if Rice was the intended receiver. Yeah. Watch Garfio kind of get caught up in the traffic there.
I don't think that was a screen. I think maybe he was trying to set a block, but just great pressure right up front by Youngstown State, led by Michael Savage again, forcing the bad pass.
Little stunt up the middle. Koval pressures. Pass incomplete, intended for Cale Turner. Broken up by Jason Perry.
Youngstown State secondary has been Johnny on the spot all evening long. That time Jason Perry arriving at the receiver the same time the ball did. Couldn't have timed it any better.
Well, you may not see a better secondary in all of Division I AA than what the Penguins put on the field on a weekly basis. And they proved it right there, forcing the Aggies into 3rd and long from the 20. Pass short of Rice and incomplete, and it was pressure from the defensive front that forced Grant to throw it prematurely.
The defensive front doing a good job. Some blitzing going on. Youngstown State bringing a lot of guys at the quarterback, and it paid off that time. That ball well underthrown as Grant ends up on his back.
Now you would think the Penguins would get good field position here. TJ Peterson standing on his own 44-yard line, awaiting the punt of Gabe Ellis. Ellis's first effort was his best at 46 yards. This one grabbed by Peterson at the 41. Flag is down. Peterson, in the meantime, returns it into UC Davis territory. Preliminary calls against Youngstown State. So that's going to take the ball back into Penguins territory. We get the call from Jerry Crump.
Holding on the return team. Number 3, during the return, 10-yard spot. First down.
Kadera Jackson, the guilty party. Let's send it back down to the sidelines. Chad.
I'll tell you what, guys, prior to taking the field, the offense talked about the fact that they've been able to move the football on UC Davis. Deke Eisen was especially vocal, saying the only time that we've been stopped, we've stopped ourselves with miscues and penalties and mistakes. They said we can do whatever we want offensively. You're looking at a very confident group, guys.
Now the penalty takes the ball back to the YSU 38. Marcus Mason runs it out to around the 44-yard line. Penguins with all 3 timeouts remaining, and this is a big series. Considering both offenses have been able to move the ball for the most part at will, should YSU punch one more in here, that would be a substantial advantage heading into the locker room.
Yeah, that's exactly what we've been talking about all evening long. Youngstown State looking to put another touchdown on that scoreboard. Pad that lead, because they're going to need it as this game goes on.
Mason now 56 yards rushing on the day. He'll add to it here. Carries it out close to the 47-yard line. He'll be about 1.5 yards shy of that first down marker. Mason had been averaging better than 100 yards rushing in his first 2 games of the season. He had 101 yards against Slippery Rock in the opener to go with 3 touchdowns. Followed that in week 2 with 107 yards rushing and another score. Today on 9 carries, Marcus Mason 58 yards rushing, and he's added yet another 6-pointer. Penguins 3 of 4 on 3rd downs today. Mason going to keep that percentage high as busts one over center, runs into UC Davis territory to the 47-yard line.
Youngstown State getting it done on 3rd down, this time on the ground. Nice blocking. You see Mason finds that seam right in the middle of the defense, jumps over the defender, picks up a first down.
Gain of 7. Coming up on the 2-minute mark here in the second quarter. Quick swing, Josh Kaysen to the 39-yard line, tackled by Lou Amaral. That's a pickup of 8.
Corners for UC Davis giving Kaysen a lot of padding, a lot of room. Youngstown State taking advantage of it for a pickup of 8 or 9 yards.
Close to a lateral. We'll give him a pass completion. Zet's not going to go up top, go vertical, but can't find his tight end, Derek Bush. And now it's 3rd and short for the Penguins offense. Now it's gut check time for the UC Davis defense. They can ill afford to allow the Penguins to score again. And now YSU is going to use a timeout.
That's their first timeout of the half.
Well, advanced tickets for the upcoming game between Youngstown State and Indiana State, the Gateway Conference, to be held on October 7th, are available through the YSU Athletic Ticket Office. That's located here at Stambaugh Stadium. Plenty of good seats still remain for YSU fans. You can stop by the university's athletic ticket office, or you can charge them by phone at 330-941-1YSU, and you can do so during normal business hours to reserve your seats for the upcoming Gateway Conference matchup against Indiana State. Penguins start playing the conference next week at Missouri State. 7 o'clock kickoff against the Bears. UC Davis will begin playing the Great West in 2 weeks at Cal Poly. Those 2 teams tied for the conference title a year ago.
Both teams, Cal Poly and UC Davis, picked to finish 1 and 2 in their conference. So an interesting battle to start conference play right off the bat.
Mason off the timeout. Has the first down, runs it to the 35. Now keep in mind, the clock starts as soon as they're set now. That's one of the new rule changes in college football. No longer do you get that prolonged stoppage of play after a first down. UC Davis on the blitz. Penguins try to pick it up and cannot. Pass intended for TJ Peterson.
Looked like Peterson might have been open for a second. That ball thrown behind him. He had the inside on the defender, but Zetz may be feeling a little bit of pressure to deliver that ball too soon behind Peterson.
Well, Zetz now 10 of 17 passing today, 161 yards and a touchdown. He has found 5 different receivers when throwing the football. From the 35 of the Aggies. Zetz goes to Irizarry, makes the catch at the 23, first down YSU. Gives Zetz some credit. He hung in there, Todd, when it looked like he wanted to pull it down and maybe run. Then he found Irizarry breaking open. There you see the pump and a step forward in the pocket like he wanted to run, but Zetz maintained his cool and found his tight end. With more pressure, Ing forcing Zetz to run. He's got the sideline. He's got a touchdown.
Nice run.
Touchdown YSU for Tom Zetz, his first rushing score of the season.
We've talked about he's not known for his running ability, but that time he got the job done on the ground. Benefited from a great block from Demetrius Eisen as he tiptoed down that sideline, got to the end zone for another Youngstown State touchdown.
And with less than a minute to go, the Penguins have increased the lead with a chance to add one more. Palmer looking to hit for the 4th consecutive time out of the hold of Todd Rowan. And does. A 9-play, 62-yard drive. The capper, a 23-yard scramble by Tom Zetz.
Watch Demetrius Eisen. He sees his quarterbacks running the ball, wants to give him the edge, and he does that on number 66, allows Zetz to have the sideline and get into the end zone for the touchdown.
Zetz, a gamer that he is, with a nice burst to get across the goal line. 3rd rushing touchdown of the day for the Penguins. And 3 separate guys have found pay dirt on the ground. Gibson, Mason, and now Zetz. And YSU has gone up by 17. And really, you got the feeling as soon as that fumble occurred that YSU recovered and capitalized on. Now the momentum is theirs once again after UC Davis had established themselves near the end of the first quarter and early in the second period.
Yeah, Youngstown State just getting it done. Not just holding UC Davis in check, but forcing the turnover. Taking advantage of that, getting their hands on the ball again, putting it in the end zone, and this is one of the most productive first halves we've seen offensively from Youngstown State in quite a while.
Well, you figure the Penguins scored 51 points in the season opener. That after a slow start. Against Maine, they put up 34, and again a slow start in the first half. And a week ago, against obviously one of the better teams in all of college football, scored just 3 at Penn State. Again, Bishop's kick will carry Bergen into the end zone, and he'll down it there. That was one of the concerns I think the Penguins had after the first 2 weeks, Todd, was putting 4 quarters of football together. They knew they had played 2 solid second halves in the first 2 weeks to get wins. Now the question is, can you put the next 2 quarters together like you've done to start the game tonight?
Yeah, consistency has been an issue. We've seen bright spots all season long, but putting it together, like you said, for an entire ball game has been their Achilles heel.
State, that's their second timeout of the half.
Yeah, the Penguins saw something they did not like defensively. So they've got 1 left. The Aggies still have 2 timeouts left.
Wisely calling the timeout. They know what the offense is capable of. John Grant, co-offensive player of the year last season. Very capable offense.
Well, you can watch Fox 1762 for the next YSU football game of the week. It'll be Indiana State taking on the Penguins in 2 weeks on Saturday, October 7th. You can watch the whole game on Fox 1762 in the Youngstown area starting at 10:30. Well, we had talked about slow starts. Against Slippery Rock in the opener, the Penguins found themselves tied at 7 with the Division II rival from across the state line in Pennsylvania, only to go up 28-14 by half. Against Maine, the Penguins trailed 14-13 at halftime, only to rally by outscoring the Black Bears 21-0 in the second half. Quick swing, thrown to Chris Carter. Carter gets the ball ahead of the 28-yard line. And leaves the Ags with 2nd and short with the clock working against him. They're going to have to start throwing it deep to get some field position. He's going to dump it off here to Marcus Nolan. Flag is down, so is Nolan at his own 38-yard line. But more than likely, this one's coming back.
Yeah, it's got to be a hold of some sort against UC Davis.
Holding on the offense, number 76. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay, 2nd down.
So the 4th flag of the day against UC Davis. Aggies have now totaled 35 yards in infractions. And the penalty takes the ball back to the 18-yard line.
They'll take a knee here. Content with just going in at half.
Yep.
Trying to regroup.
And that's what UC Davis will do. They'll have their backs to the wall when they come out for the second half, and they will get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. We'll hear from YSU's head football coach here in a moment. His team leading 31-14 at the break. So a good solid first half for Youngstown, which came in ranked 8th in the Sports Network's weekly college football poll for Division I AA. Head coach John Haycock making his way over to our Chad Krespinski, and we'll get his thoughts on the first 2 quarters of play here in just a second. UC Davis came in ranked 16th in the latest Sports Network poll. Their only loss to a Division 1A opponent, much like YSU. Let's send it on the sidelines. Chad has the head coach. Chad?
All right, guys, a solid first half. We knew we would be in for a dogfight here tonight between these 2 teams. Pleased to be joined by Coach Haycock. And, Coach, first of all, you knew you had a good football team coming to town. What'd you see in the first half?
Well, it's a heck of a football game. Obviously, they've been able to throw the football some and had some success. And, our guys on offense have moved the football. We found a couple things that we think we can go to when we need to. And, the kids are blocking and tackling right now, so that's been the key, and a better job in the kickoff, obviously.
Second half adjustments, what can we expect?
We're going to have to do a better job in special teams. On the punt, they get one out the gate a little bit in kickoff return. And we just got to do a better job in special teams right now. And then offensively, we've got to take care of the football as we are and keep getting turnovers on defense.
Coach, thanks for your time. Penguins head coach John Haycock back with more after this.
The Fox 1762 YSU Penguin Football Game of the Week is brought to you by the Associated School Employees Credit Union. Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet, Fab Limousines, and the Pittsburgh Institute of Aeronautics.
If you're tired of getting the runaround when applying for an auto loan, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU? The Associated School Employees Credit Union, serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best auto loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
Save during our September sales event. Hi folks, Mark Asher here, Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet, and right now, lease an 07 Chevy Impala for $149 a month, an 07 Silverado Extended Cab for $186 a month, a Cadillac CTS for $259 a month, and save up to $5,000 on 06 Buick LaCrosse and Lucerne sedans. There's a reason why we're Ohio's largest, so stop in and see us at Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet, or visit us online at drivecolumbiana.com.
You'll feel like a celebrity when you ride in a Fab limousine. No matter the occasion, a wedding, homecoming, or prom, or a trip to your favorite sporting event, Fab Limousines has vehicles to suit every need. Feel like a celebrity. Ride in style with a Fab limousine. Also check out Fab's new division, Fabulous Tours. Call 797-TRIP for details.
Let the good times roll. The USA should be seen in a Fab limousine. Fab limousines.
As little as 16 months, you could be starting an exciting career in the aviation industry with aviation maintenance technician training from PIA at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Classes begin soon, but space is limited, so call PIA right now. Give us 16 months and we'll give you the skills to begin a high-paying career at our newest campus at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Call PIA and schedule a tour right now.
And welcome back to Stambaugh Stadium. We've reached the half, 31-14, Youngstown State leading the Aggies from UC Davis. The Penguins, a tremendous outing last week at Penn State. The Nittany Lions getting the better end, but a tremendous learning experience for Youngstown State. They'll certainly take the lessons that they learned in Happy Valley with it through the rest of the season. Goes back to some of the basics like hard work, determination, and continuing with the plan. Penn State is now in YSU's rear-view mirror, but it's full speed ahead after the clash with the Nittany Lions with a rigorous 1AA schedule ahead down the stretch run.
It was a great experience. I'm glad we had the opportunity for that, but as you said, we do have to set that aside and move on with our season.
We just got to take one game at a time. First, let's get this game over with, then we'll focus on the gateway teams.
But not soon forgetting about the lessons learned so far this season. Growing Penguins set their sights on this week's opponent, UC Davis.
As we mature as a team, we're maturing and getting smarter play, that hard playing and maturity and actually knowing what we're doing specifically will help us out greatly in the upcoming games.
And playing hard always gives you an opportunity to have success. If you don't play hard, you have no chance.
Everybody knows the team that we have and the talent that we have, and it's just all about bringing it all together.
The Penguins return home for the next phase of the 06 schedule, and that's been good news for John Haycock and company. In fact, the Penguins have won 9 straight games here at Stambaugh Stadium, dating back to the 04 season.
We're going to need that support. Again, we're going to need the crowd in this game. It needs to feel like home, and I think it'll be good coming off of a game as a week ago to come back home and play. I think it'll be as physical a football game as we've seen out here in this stadium in a long time.
The Penguins and Aggies kick off Saturday at 6 o'clock at the Ice Castle. Chad Krispinski, First News Sports. And welcome back to Stambaugh Stadium. I am Chad Krispinski with a very special guest coming to us all the way from California. His name is Bob Kerr, and his title, let's get this right, it's the Director of International Alumni and Visitors Program at the university. Tell us a little bit about what you do with the university, with the Aggies and UC Davis.
Well, Chad, first of all, it's a pleasure to be in such an environment as this, with the fans, the band, and a competitive atmosphere. We hope we can duplicate that at UC Davis as well. As for my job, I work in the international arena, establishing relationships between UC Davis and the best universities around the world. Student recruitment, faculty sabbaticals, collaborative research, and then also linking with our alumni. We have over 6,000 alumni of record that we know that are around the world, and we want to hook up with them in any way we can.
For fans watching the football game today who may not know a whole heck of a lot about UC Davis, what would you want them to know about the school?
We're one of 10 University of California campuses located in Northern California on 5,300 acres, so we're a very large campus. We're a comprehensive research university. We have over 100 academic majors, 80 graduate programs. We have over 30,000 students, 170,000 alumni, and we're about to celebrate our 100th anniversary in 2008.
In regards to the campus itself, I know the football team hasn't really been able to see much of it. You've been on the road for quite a bit for the first, in fact, all of this season so far. I understand there's a new facility being built, and I know you're very excited about that.
Actually, our first 5 games, Chad, are on the road. We had hoped to have our stadium completed for this year. It's going to be a stadium very similar in size to this stadium with a synthetic turf, but our winter didn't allow that to happen, so now we're not going to have the field available until 2007. It's going to house lacrosse and our football, and the first event will be a women's lacrosse game in February 2007. So we see this as kind of our dress rehearsal this year, and next year is a big show time.
It transitioned from Division II to Division I, and of course you're not eligible for the postseason now, but it's got to create a great deal of excitement throughout the athletic department, throughout the school, and the whole Aggie family, right?
Absolutely. Chad, we have 26 intercollegiate sports teams and a mixture of the men and the women. And these players have been terrific because they're playing for no conference championships, no personal awards, but they know they're building a bigger base as we move from Division II to Division I. The support of our faculty, staff, students, and alumni has just been terrific. We're excited. We have student athletes at Davis, just as you do here, and they're great representatives of our program.
Let's talk specifically, you and I talked off the air about all of the work internationally and what you help to help students both here in the United States at UC Davis and also overseas. What do you hope to accomplish, and what are your goals with the programs that you're involved in?
Chad, our chancellor has a dream that all of our students would study abroad at some point in their college career. We know that that's a tall order. And so we're also trying to bring as many international students to UC Davis as possible. Any given year, we have between 3,000 and 4,000 students from around the world on our campus, and we're sending about 1,500 abroad. We believe that peace happens one step at a time, one faculty exchange at a time, one student exchange at a time. So we're trying to build as many bridges as we possibly can between UC Davis and the best universities around the world.
A classy program and two of the very best football programs really on the field today in UC Davis and Youngstown State. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and have a safe trip back when the ball game is all said and done.
Thank you, Chad, and we appreciate this opportunity to showcase UC Davis.
Our guest has been Bob Kerr. He's the Director of International Alumni and the Visitors Program at UC Davis, a long way from home. We're going to take a break, and Rob will be back with all the more halftime festivities. That coming your way next on the Fox 1762 YSU Football Game of the Week.
'07s are on sale right now at Stadium in Salem. Get a Chevy Silverado starting at $144 a month, Chevy Impala $174 a month. How about a Chevy Trailblazer for only $204 a month? These are '07 models. Buick Rendezvous start at $169, Pontiac G6 $199, and the Grand Prix only $219. '07s on sale at Stadium in Salem. Where are you going to buy your next car?
Get rid of clutter in your home and make extra money by having a garage sale. The Vindicator will help you advertise your sale by offering you the lowest advertising rate in town. And when you place your ad now, you'll receive a free garage sale kit, including signs, balloons, and tips for a successful sale. The Vindicator is the best place to advertise your garage sale. Phone 330-746-6565 to place your garage sale ad in the Vindicator. Now we give you even more.
Show your school
spirit. Highlight your company's name with shirts, sweatshirts, hats, jackets, and more. Visit Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print in Girard to see all the styles and colors available. Nightline features items for Girard, Ursuline, McDonald, and Liberty fans. Don't see your favorite team on display? No problem. Just ask. No job is too small or too large. All work is done on the premises. Wholesale pricing is available on large orders for schools, companies, and fundraising events. For quality signature apparel, visit Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print, West Liberty Street, Girard.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
The Fox 1762 YSU Penguin Football Halftime Report is brought to you by Arby's.
It is halftime at Youngstown State University with the Penguins leading UC Davis 31-14. It's time now for our Arby's halftime statistics as we break things down from the first 2 quarters of play. We expected an offensive showcase, and for the most part, the Penguins have delivered, and the Aggies have done exactly what you'd expect. It's a pass first, run second type offense. There's a look at the team statistics. YSU with more than a 2-to-1 edge in total yards. The Penguins have run it for 166 yards as compared to just 33 for the Aggies, with the big surprise is how Youngstown State has been successful throwing the ball. Thanks to Tom Zetz, who got off to a great start, completing his first 6 passes of the day. But where the game kind of turned in the second quarter was on the contest's only turnover so far, with UC Davis trying to mount a comeback and gain its first advantage of the day. Tony Case has the ball stripped clean by Kadera Jackson. YSU recovers the fumble and wasted little time in taking advantage of the mistake. Following the James Terry recovery, YSU cashed in with a Marcus Mason touchdown run. As you see, it's the only turnover so far. These two teams have combined to commit 7 penalties. YSU yet to punt, and the Penguins own a 31-14 halftime advantage. And they found a lot of different weapons offensively. YSU's Tom Zetz was able to find 5 different receivers in the first half. What's going to be one of his favorite targets all year, Louis Irizarry, the local product from Ursuline High School in Youngstown, Ohio, caught a couple of passes, in fact 3 to be exact in the first half, for 55 yards. Tom Zetz overall 11 of 18 for 173 yards and a touchdown strike. That pass to Demetrius Ison. For John Grant of UC Davis, almost identical, 11 of 18. He has thrown for 120 yards. Actually, he's thrown for 82 because there was another pass thrown in there. Grant, 11 of 18, 82 yards, far below his per-game average, but he too with a touchdown strike. He found Tony Case for UC Davis's first score of the day, and these two quarterbacks have been perfect as far as not turning the football over. As far as the Penguins' ground attack is concerned, we knew it was run versus pass. 3 separate guys have gotten into the end zone on the ground for the Penguins. Marcus Mason among them. McQuante Gibson also has a rushing touchdown, as does Tom Zetz. One reason why the Penguins were able to put up 21 second quarter points. They did so by running for 3 touchdowns. Mason, as an individual, 11 carries, 69 yards in that touchdown that you just saw. Leading ground gainer for the Aggies, Marcus Nolan, 4 carries, 16 yards. Also on the ground in the first half for UC Davis, Alex Garfio with 2 carries for just 3 yards. As for the Aggies, their first touchdown was a pass from Grant to Case. The second one involved the same 2 guys, except Case added another member in the trio. A little lateral and then a pass downfield to Cale Turner. That was a 38-yard strike. It got the Aggies to within 3, but they could get no closer as the Penguins scored 14 unanswered points to close out the second quarter, and that's why the Penguins currently lead 31-14 here at half. So UC Davis will get the football to start the second half. We'll see which team has made the proper adjustments, and which team can emerge victorious as these two schools look for some early season supremacy between the two conferences. Again, at the break, it's Youngstown State 31, UC Davis 14.
Life comes at you fast.
Am I covered?
Oh, yeah. You're covered. When the unexpected happens, Nationwide is there with the right solutions and advice.
Good luck to the Penguins this football season from the Kernan Insurance Agency. Contact us at 629-2000.
Or at KernanOnline.com.
It only happens once a year, and it's going on now at Sweeney's. Hey, folks, I'm Tom Parker, and I'm talking about below GMS pricing on remaining 06s during our closeout. In fact, you can buy a brand new Chevy HHR for only $14,886 or a new Cobalt SS for only $15,705. Don't miss below GMS pricing. Only at Sweeney's. Remember, the best deal is a Sweeney deal. A mile south of Southern Park Mall in Boardman.
It's Andrews Cycles, the Power Sports Giant annual open house ATV sale. 5 days only this Wednesday through Sunday. Gigantic savings on over 200 ATVs. Andrews, the Tri-State's largest volume dealer, invites you to test drive before you buy. The hottest models from Honda, Suzuki, Yamaha, and Kawasaki. It's Andrews Open House. $1,200 off on select ATVs. No money down and payments as low as $34 a month. 5 days only. The open house ATV sale at Andrews Cycles. The Power Sports Giant. Route 62, Salem, Ohio.
Paint the town red. Visit the YSU bookstore for the area's largest selection of YSU logo merchandise. A spacious display area filled with all your favorite clothing items, many with unique styles and imprints. Check out all the gift items and game day accessories. On game days, the bookstore is open right up until kickoff. If it says YSU, you'll find it at the bookstore. Located on campus between Kilcolly Center and the Rec Center with convenient parking on Elm Street. Paint the town red at the YSU bookstore or shop from home at ysubookstore.com.
This quarter of the Fox 1762 Penguin Football Game of the Week is brought to you by Stadium GM.
Again, at halftime, Youngstown State enjoys a 17-point cushion over UC Davis. For the Aggies, their transformation from Division II to Division I nearly complete. The 2006-2007 academic year marks the final year of a 4-year reclassification to NCAA Division I status for UC Davis. The Aggies are 6 times winners of the Directors' Cup as the most successful Division II program. They're now trying to translate that into success at the Division I level, and they will remain a member of the Great West Football Conference despite announcing its intention to adding itself to the Big West Conference. And there is more of a storied tradition at UC Davis, and Chad Kuspinski, who's on the sideline, has more about that. Chad?
I'll tell you what, guys, first give you a quick update on what's going on in terms of the field conditions. The rain to this point has stopped, and that is certainly good news for me and also for the players who are down here. Got a little bit wet. There is still a very brisk wind that is swirling around the stadium. Coach Haycock told us before going into the locker room that special teams was going to be oh so important, and we know that that wind can certainly play tricks, especially with a kicking game, and if the ball game would come down to a field goal, we'll see how it really affects that, and hopefully it doesn't affect it much in a very hotly contested football game. If you take a look at the UC Davis roster and you go all the way down, you'll notice that there is not a number 25. There's a very special reason for that, because the jersey number belongs to former running back Sam Paneno, whose tragic injury against Western Oregon in 1999 led to the amputation of his right leg. His teammates came to his side in the hospital the following week. The ball game, unfortunately, was his first career start. The misfortune led to national publicity from ESPN, also CBS Sports and Sports Illustrated. He eventually had some prosthetic legs attached to his body, and he's able to do his everyday activities. He's an avid runner, surfer, and rock climber. That's a great story in sports about somebody just failing to give up and that never say die attitude, something we all can take from this one. Guys?
All right, Chad, thank you very much. In fact, during the third quarter, we will have a special guest with us here in the press box today. Locally, Fox 1762 in Youngstown held a contest at the local Canfield Fair. We picked 5 finalists to join us in the broadcast booth during each game throughout the course of the season. And tonight we'll be joined by Gary Draney from Berlin Center, Ohio. Gary will join us during the third quarter of tonight's game. We want to welcome him to the booth and kind of get Gary's thoughts real quick on the first half and what you saw.
It was good.
Yeah, it was a good first half in itself. And Todd, as far as the first half is concerned, what now do you see YSU doing? Because this is a team against they're playing today in UC Davis that you cannot sit on a lead.
You can't sit on the lead. Their offense is too potent. But also, like we talked about, we want to see Youngstown State play a complete game. I'm sure Coach Aycock wants to as well. He's not going to turn off anybody. He wants everyone going full steam ahead and try and build on that lead if possible. Get as many people in the game. Get some experience. A very, very good team we're playing here. So the more experience you get against quality teams like this, the better it's going to pan out for you as the season goes on.
And one of the things playing in YSU's advantage, the Penguins have won their last 35 games when scoring more than 30 points. They have 31 through the first half. However, UC Davis will get the football to start the second half. After winning the coin toss prior to the game, they deferred their selection to the third quarter. And the kick to start the third period is returned by Nevin Bergen. And the Aggies will put the ball in play just beyond their own 15-yard line. UC Davis, collectively between Grant and Kays, threw for 120 yards in the first half. Out of the eye. Play clock is expired. Or they did not set it. One of the two, they didn't set it. Pass thrown to Brandon Rice. Races out of bounds at the 32-yard line. That'll be a first down for UC Davis.
Brandon Rice wide open up the left sideline that time. Youngstown State making it too easy for John Grant. As you see number 2 making the catch wide open, turning around, picking up yards after the catch, doing a great job. Good start for UC Davis here in the third quarter.
Gain of a little less than 17. Give to Garfio. He's got a lot of running room. Gets by Jason Perry into YSU territory. Finally wrapped up by Chris Goffer, but not until Garfio runs the ball to the Penguins' 41.
UC Davis's most successful run of the evening. Nice job right in the heart of that Youngstown State defense. Let's take a look at the handoff. Garfio showing some pretty good quickness, quick feet. Once he saw daylight, he knew what to do, puts the move on Perry, and holds on to that football.
And the gain of 28 by Garfio is his longest run of the season, eclipsing a 24-yard run he had earlier in the year. Back to Garfio. Cuts across the grain. Marty Richardson will ride him into the ground. Hutchinson makes the stop, but not until Garfio runs the ball down close to the Penguins' 36.
So he's an interesting part of the ball game. The beginning of the second half, it's neat to watch the adjustments that both coaching staffs have made it during halftime. It's neat to watch it unfold on the field in front of you. We're watching just that as UC Davis keeping it on the ground, having some success.
Well, it's always said the first possession of each half is the most important. Kays in motion. Garfio, the receiver. Tripped up by Koval, but not until Garfio gets the ball to the Penguins' 29 for a first down.
Again, this UC Davis offense seems to have a little bit more bounce in their step, a nice tempo, a nice rhythm as they're advancing right down the field against Youngstown State. This time Garfio catching the ball out of the backfield, picking up another first down.
9 different receivers utilized by UC Davis here today. For Garfio, his second grab of the evening, his 12th reception of the season. Turner going back up top. Down the middle has Kays. Makes the catch inside the 10. Thrown to the ground by Chris Goffer at the 4. And that's how quickly the Aggies can strike offensively.
Yeah, we've been worrying about it all evening long. Their ability to move down the field quickly in a big hurry. This time, Grant plenty of time yet again, able to find his go-to guy. Tony Kays wide open in the middle of the field. Chris Scoffer, the only one between him and the end zone.
Gain of 25, and now the Aggies have it first and goal from the YSU 4. Garfio on the toss. Headed off by Marty Hutchinson. Makes the stop back at around the 7. Marty Hutchinson, the 6'4", 220-pound senior from Newton Falls, Ohio. Goes Garfio down for a loss.
Hutchinson with a nice read and then following it up with great pursuit. Getting to the ball carrier in the backfield, making the tackle.
And Hutchinson, not really your prototypical linebacker, a tall, lanky kid, not a lot of bulk on his body, but he makes up for it with awareness on the field.
Awareness, and he's got a nose for the ball.
Turner going to swing it out to Kays. Tackled it around the 2-yard line by YSU's Rashad Cotton. And the ball's going to be placed down at the Youngstown 1. There's a good look at Tony Kays, senior from Elk Grove, California. 3rd and goal now for the Aggies. McDonough, the wingback to the right. But it's Garfio looking for 6. Won't get there. Koval penetrated defensively for Youngstown State. Disrupted the rhythm of Alex Garfio, and he slides down short of the goal line. But even though we're early in the 3rd quarter, Todd, down 17, you're at a stage where you've got to go for it.
You have to go for it. Gut check time for this UC Davis offense, especially this offensive line. Regardless of what they do, this is what football is all about. 4th and 1 on the goal line.
That's how close they are. Aggies trying to slice into a 17-point deficit on their opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Garfio. Did he get there? Yes. Touchdown, UC Davis. Penguins didn't think they had cracked the goal. The official thought otherwise, and Garfio gets in for the 2nd time this season. It's only the 5th rushing touchdown this year for UC Davis's offense.
UC Davis, they have a big offensive line. They weren't going to be denied that time. Nice job up front. Didn't get him much, but they got him enough as Garfield gets into the end zone for the UC Davis touchdown.
Benjamin on for the try after. Kays to hold. And just like that, UC Davis wastes a little time in answering at the start of the 3rd quarter. They are not going to go away quietly. 10-17 to go in the 3rd quarter. Youngstown State will get their hands on the ball for the first time in the 3rd period with our score, YSU 31, UC Davis 21.
Blowing out our SUVs during our September sales event. Hi folks, Mark Asher here, Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet, and right now, lease a Chevy Trailblazer for $98 a month. How about a Buick Rendezvous for $139 a month? A Chevy Tahoe for $329 a month. A big Suburban SUV for $369 a month. And save over $12,000 on an 06 Chevy Avalanche. There's a reason why we're Ohio's largest, so stop in and see us at Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet or visit us online at drivecolumbiana.com.
If you're looking to buy a new home or refinance your present one, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU? The Associated School Employees Credit Union, serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best home loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow. You'll feel like a celebrity when you ride in a Fab limousine. No matter the occasion, a wedding, homecoming, or prom, or a trip to your favorite sporting event, Fab Limousines has vehicles to suit every need. Feel like a celebrity. Ride in style with a Fab limousine. Also check out Fab's new division, Fabulous Tours. Call 797-TRIP for details.
Let the good times roll. The USA should be seen in a Fab limousine. Fab limousines.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
Well, the Aggies take the second half kickoff and drive 84 yards in 9 plays. Alex Garfio punch it again from a yard out. Garfio's second rushing touchdown of the season. And just like that, UC Davis back to within 10. Benjamin's kickoff, grabbed by Miles Williams. And Williams will give the Penguins good starting field position. YSU will open up for the first time in the second half with the ball, right around their own 37. Let's send it back down the sideline to Chad Krispinski.
Rob, you alluded to it a couple of minutes ago. You said that the play clock may not have started. That's true because it's not operational. In fact, they're keeping it on the field. Down here are the officials. That should be out for the rest of the game, adding another complication to both teams' offense. Rob?
Chad, thank you very much for clearing that up. Penguins go back to the ground. Mason runs it out over the 40. Solid first half for the Penguins' leading rusher this season. That's his 12th carry of the night. He's now got 73 yards on the ground. Well, now it's up to YSU to answer. They were able to do that, Todd, in the first half and eventually emerged with that 17-point halftime lead. Zett swings it out quickly to TJ Peterson. Ridden out of bounds by the Aggs' Kenny Griffin. Peterson takes the ball ahead of the 44-yard line. Minimal gain.
Yeah, Youngstown State looking to respond, but they have the advantage with that ground control type offense, keeping it on the ground, rushing the ball, taking time off the clock. Even if they're met touchdown for touchdown, if they take more time off the clock each time with a 10-point lead, they should come out victorious.
Third down for YSU. They were 4 of 6 on possession downs in the first half. They'll convert here. Zetz goes to Rory Berry, tackled on the play by Chris Buck, but not until Berry gets the ball into UC Davis territory, tackled at the Aggs 45.
Well, we talked about UC Davis and their ability to convert on third down, but Youngstown State not too shabby themselves. This time, Zetz connecting with Rory Berry up the right sideline, moving the chains, eating time off the clock.
Zetz approaching his first 200-yard passing game of the season. He's up to 187. Give Marcus Mason. Runs it to the 40, pick up a 5. And again, neither defense showing up at this stage.
That time a good surge by the YSU offensive line. They moved the entire line of scrimmage forward 5 yards. You saw Mason didn't run into any traffic until he got 5 yards downfield. Yeah, he was tackled when he did run into commotion, but he picked up 5 yards.
Mason remains the lone setback, and he'll take the toss. Trying to get away from Nevin Bergen. Eventually tackled by James Amos. Mason makes the most of what could have been a very bad situation.
Yeah, nice job by Bergen that time. 5'11", 175-pound senior getting into the backfield. Looked like he had Mason cornered for a split second. But like you said, Rob, Mason able to make something out of nothing, or at least diminish the loss.
Well, again faced with a third down situation. Penguins converted the last time they faced it on this series. Zetz throws to Irizarry, who dropped it right over the middle. Wide open. Irizarry, I think, looked ahead to see if he could score on the reception and forgot to take the ball with him.
Yeah, that one was too easy, and I think Irizarry thought that exact same thing. He knew he was wide open. He knew the ball was right in his hands. He was churning to look how to get into the end zone before he secured that catch.
You won't see that too often, and now Joe Bishop will come in to try and pin the Aggies inside their own 20. 5 times this season, Bishop has punted the ball inside the opponent's 20. Fair catch, and the ball will go out of bounds at the 5, make it the 6-yard line, and the Aggies will put it in play there with their backs to the goal. 7:19 to go in the third quarter. The Penguins still own a 10-point lead over UC Davis.
Ohio Sports and Spine Institute is in the business of getting people better. They've assembled an expert team of physical therapists, athletic trainers, massotherapists, and on-site physicians to attain that goal. Don't be fooled by their name. Sports medicine is just part of what they do. Ohio Sports and Spine Institute also offers management of workman's comp and personal injuries, post-surgical rehabilitation, and pain management. For help with an athletic injury, chronic pain, or rehab, call the expert team of physicians and therapists at Ohio Sports and Spine Institute.
At Pizza Joe's, we're always talking tasty with great pizza, subs, calzones, and strombolis made with the freshest ingredients. Bring the family to Pizza Joe's and see what tasty specials we're cooking up. Come in now for a 9-cut specialty pizza with one of these great toppings. Barbecue chicken, buffalo chicken, or chicken club for just $9. That's a 9-cut specialty pizza for just $9. Everyone goes to Pizza Joe's, where we're always talking tasty. Check out pizzajoes.com for a location near you.
We're talking tasty down at Pizza Joe's. It's the place where everyone goes.
Got me spellbound, baby. Can't get my mind off you. You got me spellbound, baby.
Wow. For everything she is and will be, only one diamond will do. Hearts on Fire, the world's most perfectly cut diamond.
Available at Kamara Jewelers in the Coal Creek Plaza, Cornersburg.
You want local news, but you don't want to stay up late.
Demand more.
More in-depth coverage of the stories that impact you.
No, sir, definitely by no means. Never done any violence. My property, get off of it. Touch them again, you're in trouble.
More local sports action from all your favorite schools.
Whether it's from the other side of the county or right in your own backyard, First News at 10 gives you more.
It's one full hour of local news before the rest.
Think first, think Fox.
First News at 10 on Fox 1762.
Now UC Davis starting this series inside its own 10.
Start. Number 67 on the offense. Half the distance to the goal. Remain second down.
And after the Aggs on their first down play got minimal yardage on the ground, now they shoot themselves in their foot with a flag. The false start moves the ball back inside the 5, in between the 3 and 4. Marcus Nolan, the lone setback, but Turner going to throw out of his own end zone and throws it over the head of Chris Carter. Let's send it out of the sideline. Chad has an injury update for us. Chad?
Rob, I just talked to John Donaco on the Penguin training staff, and he said that Q Gibson is so far out of the ball game with a sprained toe. At this point, his return is questionable. So Q Gibson, sprained toe, questionable for his return tonight. Rob?
And it was after he had such a solid first half. Gibson had carried the ball 5 times for 64 yards, but had a rushing touchdown of 16 yards to his credit in the first half. Now on 3rd and long, John Grant out of his own end zone. Gonna have to run for his life. Kadera Jackson makes the stop at the 6, and the Aggies will have to punt from their own end zone.
Actually, not a bad play call. You want to give your punter as much room as you can. Looked like a designed quarterback keeper for John Grant. Unfortunately for UC Davis, Youngstown State sniffed that out real quick. Didn't get their punter much room at all.
So Gabe Ellis will punt it away. Ellis is average better than 40 yards on his punts tonight. Peterson off the bounce will pay the price. Hit by Kenneth Brown, and the Penguins still get good field position for their second offensive series of the second half.
Yeah, the way the Youngstown State offense has been playing all evening long, the last thing you want to do is give them only half a field to work with, and that's exactly what just happened. And it starts with the Bishop punt, pinning UC Davis deep in their own territory. They're unable to put anything together offensively. Results in Youngstown State with excellent field position.
So YSU will begin on the 49. Mason will stay to block. Zetz now trying to get away from Amos. Throws on the run over the head of Miles Williams to Michael Horn, also in the vicinity. Earlier in the game, Zetz on the run was called for intentional grounding. That time, Todd, he made sure he had somebody in red in the neighborhood of where he was throwing the ball.
Yeah, and he was well out of the pocket. Good coverage by UC Davis. Nobody downfield. No open receivers. And Zetz had the time. Yeah, he was running, but he was still looking. Finally throws that one out of bounds.
Mason will try to pick up some yardage on the ground. To the 47 of the Aggies. Stop for UC Davis registered by Chris Buck. Came in as the team's second leading tackler.
The Aggies putting 7-8 guys in the box. Really putting a crimp in the Youngstown State's rushing game.
Yeah, the Penguins in the first half had 166 yards on the ground. And you figure up 10 with less than 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. You want to keep it on the ground to chew that clock up. Ing trying to pressure Zetz, who throws for Miles Williams, and the pass is batted away. Nice coverage by Kenny Griffin.
That ball well underthrown. Miles Williams, one of those guys we've heard about. We haven't had a chance to see him at home until tonight. Another one of those transfers, brings a lot to the table. Speed, good catching ability, but this time that ball well underthrown, nearly intercepted.
Williams, a local product from Fitch High School in Austintown, Ohio. Joe Bishop comes on to punt for the second consecutive possession. Last time he pinned the UC Davis Aggies inside their own 10. And he did the same thing here. Bishop with another beaut. This one will go out of bounds at the 8, and that's where the Aggies will put it in play when we return. YSU up 31-21. We'll be right back.
It only happens once a year, and it's going on now at Sweeney's. Hey, folks, I'm Tom Parker, and I'm talking about below GMS pricing on remaining 06s during our closeout. In fact, you can buy a brand new Chevy HHR for only $14,886 or a new Cobalt SS for only $15,705. Don't miss below GMS pricing. Only at Sweeney's. Remember, the best deal is a Sweeney deal. A mile south of Southern Park Mall in Boardman.
It's always been in the same location. One family's always owned it. The old world recipes have been passed down through generations. The atmosphere is warm and welcome. Casisa's MVR, the Mahoning Valley restaurant, has been a Youngstown tradition since 1927. The menu features delicious Italian specialties with Casisa's homemade sauces. Come in for lunch or dinner. Reserve the banquet rooms for a family party or any special event.
Come be a part of our family.
Casisa's MVR, Smoky Hollow at the YSU campus. If you're tired of getting the runaround when applying for an auto loan, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU, the Associated School Employees Credit Union serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best auto loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
And the first down play for UC Davis beginning from its own 8. John Grant found Tony Kays. And then Alex Garfield with the run. And just like that, the Aggies are all the way out to their own 27-yard line.
Well, in Chad's halftime interview with Coach Haycock, one of the things Coach Haycock said was he wanted to see better play out of his special teams, and he was getting it from his punt team, pinning UC Davis deep in their own territory. But this time the Aggies doing a much better job of digging out of that hole.
Grant looks for Rice. He can't bring it in. Pass off his hand and incomplete. Flag is down as well. So we'll wait to get the call from Jerry Frump, our referee. Preliminary call against the Aggies.
What is that's illegal man downfield?
It's an interesting call.
Have an ineligible downfield on the offense. Number 80 was covered. We have a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Replay first down.
Brad Bispo, the backup tight end.
That explains it. Typically when you think of that, you think of a lineman getting downfield, and it would have been hard to miss one of these guys getting downfield. It was one of the receivers, just an improper formation. Not enough guys in the line of scrimmage or whatever, and somebody goes downfield.
Yep, Bispo, a redshirt freshman with a mental error there. Grant in trouble. Savage giving chase, and he'll chase John Grant out of bounds.
Good coverage by YSU secondary. Grant couldn't find the open man, feeling some pressure. Takes off running to his right, trying to get that corner. Unable to get, he's forced out of bounds.
And there you see Grant with a lot of time. For the most part, a coverage sack. And now the ball's sitting back on the Aggies' 20. Looking at second and very long. Koval looking to come off the corner. Grant steps up. Still in trouble, and Koval comes back to get a hold of the Aggies quarterback and drop him at the 21. First it was Bobby Light's Knight, number 90, that applied the pressure after Koval, number 51, came off the corner at linebacker.
Yeah, nice job of keeping your head in the play. As you see Koval, like you said, Rob, getting that pressure. He got pushed past the play, past the quarterback, but he kept his motor running, was able to come back and make the tackle.
Now it's third down. The Aggie series got off to a good start with 2 solid plays. They've now gone in reverse. Pass to Garfield. Does he have enough room to get to the first down? He does. And Goffer with a late hit, and that's going to bring out the laundry. So a first down for UC Davis, and this flag will move them in to Youngstown territory.
I tell you, how impressive has Alex Garfield been in this second half.
Ball. Personal foul on the defense, number 2. Late hit out of bounds. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Boy, that will not make the YSU coaching staff happy to allow UC Davis to get out of the hole.
Garfield put some good moves on Dorian Chenault. He ends up slipping, and he's taking advantage of it, showing good speed, gets up that right sideline. You see him go past the first down marker, and there's Goffer with the hit out of bounds, tacking on even more yardage to that play.
15-yard infraction, fourth penalty of the night against YSU. They've now totaled 40 yards in markers. This penalty takes the ball inside the Penguins' 40 for UC Davis. Grant with a deep drop. Throws, and the pass is intercepted by Kadera Jackson. It's only the second interception registered this year by YSU's defense, but it comes at an opportune time for YSU. A year ago, Kadera Jackson led the team with 6 interceptions. He's got his 7th career pick as a member of the Penguins.
Well, we've talked about YSU secondary all evening long, doing a good job of covering the receivers. This time coming up with a big interception. Jackson getting a great break on the ball. Maybe that ball a little bit underthrown. There's a reason why he's a Buck Buchanan Award candidate. He's proven it just there.
Second takeaway registered by YSU's defense tonight. They were able to capitalize on a fumble recovery with a score. Now they'll begin inside their own 25. Mason changes that by running it out to the 27, hit by Lou Amaral.
And it's what we've been talking about all evening long. Had that interception not occurred, you could see what was on the horizon. UC Davis going right down the field. Yeah, they put a touchdown on the scoreboard. It becomes a 3-point ball game. So these turnovers playing huge in this ball game. Youngstown State capitalized on one already.
And you got the feeling before that interception that the crowd and maybe even the players were kind of at a lull, you know, like almost complacency.
Complacent, exactly.
Mason trying to get outside. Got away from Ing. Chased out of bounds by Mike Morales. But it was Mike Ing, the senior from Fairfield, California, who got penetration initially for the Aggies defense.
And while Bishop has done a great job of punting that ball, pinning UC Davis deep in their own territory, the offense really has to get it done. They really got to play like they did in the first half, put some more points on the scoreboard, because we've seen, thanks to number 22, Alex Garfield, that UC Davis is kind of having their way with YSU's defense.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier. YSU needed to put together 4 consecutive quarters of good football. So far they put together 2 to begin the game. This third one has been somewhat lackluster. Marcus Mason disrupted in the backfield, and a big play by Lou Amaral. And that's going to force the punting units to come out. So for the 3rd straight series here in the second half, YSU has to punt the ball.
That was one of those question marks. We knew the UC Davis defense was good against the run, but we weren't sure what type of competition they had seen. They stepped up big that time, shutting down YSU on a 3rd and 1.
Joe Bishop sends one deep after driving 2 inside the 10. This one will be caught at the 20 by Cale Turner. And Turner returns it out over his own 25 up to around the 28-yard line. So better starting field position. In fact, the best starting field position of any drive that the Aggies have had in the second half. They scored on their opening possession of this second half, but they started at the 15. Then they proceeded to start at the 6 and the 8, and now they begin at their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, they've had their backs against the wall this entire half, or at least the last few series, but despite a nice kick by Bishop, it was a good-looking return by Turner. Ends up in decent field position for his offense.
Off the play fake. Grant throws, has his man. Jason Perry makes the quick tackle after the reception is made by Chris Carter. Now it's going to come down to 1 quarter of football. After a high-scoring first half, the defenses have now kind of settled in here in the second half. That was a gain good for a first down and a pickup of 14. To the ground with Marcus Nolan. Nolan's best game of the year came in the season opener against Northern Colorado, and he ran the ball 13 times for 65 yards and his only rushing touchdown of the season. And that'll be the final play of the third period. So through 3, YSU maintains the lead, but it has gone from 17 to 10. We head to the final 15 minutes with our score. Youngstown State 31, UC Davis 21.
Save during our September sales event. Hi folks, Mark Asher here, Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet, and right now, lease an 07 Chevy Impala for $149 a month. An 07 Silverado extended cab for $186 a month. A Cadillac CTS for $259 a month, and save up to $5,000 on 06 Buick LaCrosse and Lucerne sedans. There's a reason why we're Ohio's largest, so stop in and see us at Columbiana Buick Cadillac Chevrolet or visit us online at drivecolumbiana.com.
You'll find all the comforts a student needs to feel at home at the University Courtyard Apartments at YSU. These 1, 2, and 4 bedroom apartments are fully furnished, have private bedrooms, and fully equipped kitchens. The all-inclusive rent covers all utilities, including beta cable TV and high-speed internet access. There's convenient free parking, and the YSU campus shuttle stops right at the front door. Study hard, live easy at the University Courtyard Apartments. Current or future YSU students call today or visit ucyoungstown.com for more information.
My job is more than just sitting behind a desk. It's participating in events like the Kids Identikit program to keep our children safe. It's being there, helping to make a difference in our community. As this valley changes and grows, First News will also be there, covering the story. The stories that have an impact. The stories that you care about. My job is to tell the story. 27 First News, where your news comes first.
Hey, you like things that are free? Then check out the Review newspapers every Thursday at a location near you. The Review newspapers is available at more than 2,000 locations in Trumbull and Mahoning counties. Find local news, sports, and editorials from your community every Thursday in the Review. Log on to thereviewNewspapers.com to find out where to get the Review, or read it for free online in our easy-to-read newspaper format. Pick up your free copy today. The Review newspapers. Nobody covers more local news, period.
Well, tonight's game is brought to you in part by the YSU Bookstore. It carries a huge selection of YSU clothing and memorabilia for every Penguins fan. And by University Courtyard Apartments, offering all the comforts YSU students need to feel right at home. We get set to start the fourth quarter. The Aggies with the ball on the YSU 49-yard line, and UC Davis finds itself trailing 31-21. Marcus Nolan with some room to run. Tackled by Marty Hutchinson, but not until he gets the first down, rambling to the Penguins 35.
UC Davis finding a way to take advantage of Youngstown State's defense on the ground. We're seeing a lot more production running the ball than we did in the first half.
Also, we want to thank our special sportscaster tonight who sat in with us during the third quarter play, Gary Duraney from Berlin Center. Joined us here in the booth tonight during the third quarter. We want to thank him for kind of sitting in with us. Hope he enjoys the rest of the ball game. Back to Nolan, slides to a stop at about the 35. Ran right into the backside of his own lineman. Let's send it back down to the sideline. Chad Kraspinski has more for us. Chad?
I'll tell you what, guys, on both sides, you take a look at the benches for Youngstown State and also UC Davis. Very tired guys up front on both sides of the ball. Coach Haycock said this will be a physical battle. It sure has been. Fatigued groups on both ends. Back to you.
That explains why the third quarter was, a little less active than we had seen in the first two periods of play. Grant's pass picked off by Jason Perry. This time he's got a chance to go all the way. Nolan cannot make the tackle. Now Perry's got a convoy. They're not going to catch him. Touchdown, YSU. Jason Perry with the interception returned for a touchdown, and that may have put it away for the Penguins.
Another interception for Youngstown State. YSU's offense took advantage of it in the first one. They couldn't do it on the second one. This time, The YSU defense decides to take matters into their own hands. Jason Perry goes the distance, puts it in the end zone for a touchdown.
So after coming up with only one pick in the first 3 games of the season, YSU has now come up with 2 interceptions. This one by Jason Perry, and he returns it 78 yards for the score. And YSU now has regained the advantage with an extra point pending. They'll go back up by 17.
Nice job by Perry running that ball. Like you said, getting some good blocks. You could see his teammates catch up with him, leading the way into the end zone.
Palmer stays perfect on the night, and now a little more than a minute into the 4th quarter, YSU has regained the margin that it enjoyed at halftime. The Penguins on top 38-21.
No one trashes Youngstown. Youngstown
Littering is serious business.
Is there a problem, officer? I had my seatbelt on.
Your ticket's for littering, for the bag of trash and the cigarette butt. It's unsightly and dangerous.
You've been charged with illegally dumping. This is punishable by a fine of up to $500, community service, or jail time.
I told you not to illegally dump.
Littering is a crime. Be responsible or suffer the time.
This is unbelievable. It's a lifetime gone. We'll make it right, John.
For the past 20 years, I've been their insurance agent. But not today.
Life comes at you fast. Nobody understands better than Nationwide Insurance.
Good luck to the Penguins this football season from the Kernan Insurance Agency. Contact us at 629-2000.
Or at KernanOnline.com.
Before you go to work, let 27 First News work for you. 27 First News this morning and the early show.
All right, hi, good morning to you.
Working hard for you from 5 to 9.
Still ahead here on First News.
Wake up to 27 First News this morning and the early show.
All new People's Court.
My dog was pulling his leg, trying to get his leg out.
But who's really to blame for this four-legged fiasco?
You know how many times I have a case like this and it's 40 stitches on a baby?
All new People's Court.
Monday at 2 on Fox 1762.
Come on out and enjoy the 2006 Gateway Conference home opener as your YSU Penguins host the Indiana State Sycamores. All the exciting action kicks off October 7th at 4 p.m. Fans receive a free YSU Stadium Cup. Plus, come out early for the Panera Bread Family Fun Fest and enjoy all the games and live music. Call 330-941-1YSU or log on to YSUsports.com for game and ticket information.
Well, Jason Perry's interception return for a touchdown has put YSU back up by 3 scores. John Grant has now been picked off twice tonight and 4 times this season. He was also intercepted twice in the loss to TCU. So by no small coincidence, when Grant does not throw an interception, the Aggies win. When it does, they lose. Kickoff return by Nevin Bergen. Bergen's out over the 25, up around the 26-yard line.
So Youngstown State able to capitalize on the fumble. The offense was able to put it in the end zone. They had another interception that YSU's offense could do anything with. And then this last interception that Jason Perry took all the way. So UC Davis came into the ball game with, like we said, a +4 on the turnover margin. That's gone away quickly. And it's been the difference in this ball game.
Penguins came in even. Now they're a +3. Alex Garfio, who has scored his team's only second-half touchdown, will run the ball out over the 30. Pickup of roughly 4 yards there. Garfio on the night, 51 yards rushing on 10 carries. That's approaching his season high. Against Northern Colorado, Garfio ran it 17 times for 59 yards. Screen set up to Garfio. First down yardage out to the 45-yard line. And Dorian Chenault is injured. The Penguins safety is down in the UC Davis 44. YSU has already lost McQuante Gibson, one of its two tailbacks. As Chad had earlier explained, he's out with an ankle and a toe. And now Dorian Chenault is down.
Still a lot of ball game left. Just over 12.5 minutes in the fourth quarter. It's going to be a matter of UC Davis keeping their head in the games.
Well, the thing you talk about is depth. When you start to get into the middle of the season, late in the season, you start to talk about depth. Now, Dorian Chenault there, you see at the end of the play, holding his right arm. But he is up. And looks to be okay. Product of Canton, Ohio, played his high school football at McKinley. And I don't think you'll see Dorian Chenault out of the game too long. Goffer and Gliada are now the safeties for YSU. First down play for the Aggies. Grant over the middle, intercepted, picked off by Chris Goffer. Bad pass by John Grant, intending it for Chris Carter, really nowhere near the intended receiver, and all of a sudden the YSU secondary is starting to live up to its preseason hype.
Yeah, probably the worst pass we've seen from John Grant. Looks like he was looking for number 9, Chris Carter. Plenty of time, no reason for this pass. Maybe it just sailed on him, but right into the hands of Chris Goffer. Completely different quarterback than what showed up last week against Montana State. All world, 5 touchdowns. How many yards passing?
Well, a week ago, he was 23 of 28 against Montana State for 324 yards and a career-high 5 touchdowns. Not the case tonight for John Grant, who after going 11 of 18 in the first half, has thrown 3 interceptions in the second half. And the Penguins, number 1, number 2, and number 3 in the program all have picks tonight.
It makes you wonder, is the quarterback having that bad a game, or is the competition that much better? Might be a little bit of both, but Youngstown State, like we said, brings one of the top, if not the premier secondary to the table every time they line up.
Zetz wants to go up top, but has decided to run instead. Dives out to the 46-yard line, up close to the 47-yard line. That'll leave the Penguins with 3rd and short. And now YSU can really utilize the clock here, which was probably why that was a good decision for Zetz. Once you're out of the pocket, if you don't see what you like, there's no reason to give it up. You can live for another play.
Yeah, don't force anything. Another good decision. That's one of the things we talked about. He's had some problems earlier in the season, forcing things, maybe turning the ball over when he didn't have to.
Close to the first down, but not quite enough. But still a very makeable 3rd down for YSU. Penguins have struggled on possession downs here in the second half. They were 4 of 6 in the first half. Just 1 of 4 since. Still hitting 50% on 3rd down tonight, and they came in converting 51% for the season. Now they'll hold YSU up till they get the chain set. Ben Lane at fullback, number 12, 5'10", 260-pounder out of Hubbard, Ohio. But it'll be Zetz to keep it himself, and he's got the first down. He'll push the pile out to around the 48-yard line.
You mentioned Ben Lane. He's a big boy, used as a decoy that time. All eyes on him, thinking he's either going to get the ball or he's going to block for his tailback. Zetz decides he's going to keep it, picks up the first down, keeps the drive alive, as well as eating more time off that clock.
Now that's an important first down, because prior to that, YSU had punted on its first 3 offensive series of the second half. In fact, the Penguins had only 1 first down prior to that one here in the second half. That after having 20 first downs in the first 2 quarters. Back to Mason, runs the ball out to midfield. I mean, YSU had nearly half as many first downs in the first half than they did in the first 3 games combined. That's how efficient they were in the first 2 quarters, and then kind of hit a lull there in that third period.
Yeah, they took the third quarter off. Let's hope they've come back to play here in the fourth quarter. The defense chipping in with the defensive touchdown.
Well, really, the second half story has been the Penguins' defense and John Grant's inability to kind of read that defense for UC Davis. Give again to Mason. Not much doing. Squeezes out a few yards to the 47 of the Aggies. Well, eventually UC Davis is going to have to start stripping that football free. In the meantime, let's send it back down to the sidelines and check in with Chad. Chad?
Guys, just an injury update in regards to Dorian Chenault, just a stinger. He's A-OK, and I think it's also worth noting the Penguins keeping things neat and tidy and in order on the field. In fact, interceptions from Jason Perry, Chris Goffler, and Cordero Jackson, each wearing number 1, 2, and 3 consecutively. Guys?
All right, Chad, thank you very much. The problem is the Penguins get a little sloppy here.
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Illegal substitution the call. That's the 5th flag of the night against YSU.
Let's see who number 4 is. Unfortunately for Youngstown State, number 4 is a quarterback.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Schneider's going to be the next guy to intercept the pass for the Youngstown State defense.
Guess that means they're done for the day.
Yeah, that string will end right there. So the penalty pushes the ball back into Youngstown's territory at the Penguins' 47. Zet steps up, delivers deep, has Miles Williams. Pass nearly intercepted, however. Nice job defensively for the Aggies by Nevin Bergen, their top corner. He closed some ground on a pass which was a little underthrown, and now Bergen comes up hobbling.
Yeah, Miles Williams, looks like he had the defender beat. Zetz wasn't able to step, wasn't able to plant his feet properly. Couldn't put his full strength into that. Ball underthrown, nearly picked off by Bergen, and he's no slouch himself, a very, very capable cornerback in his own right.
So that leaves Joe Bishop to punt it away. Turner from the 10. Takes it out to the 20. Cale Turner with a nice punt return. Well, we'll see how the UC Davis offense now responds. On its last 3 possessions, they have turned the ball over, with Grant being picked on 3 consecutive possessions. Well, the Kennedy Catholic Golden Eagles take on the Warren John F. Kennedy Eagles next Friday night. You can catch all the action of high school football in Youngstown on Fox 1762. It's the high school football game of the week, not just the highlights. We'll have the whole game. That's Friday night at 10:30 on Youngstown's Fox 1762. Kennedy Catholic against Warren Kennedy. Good interstate battle. Grant nearly picked again. This time it's Jason Terry who got his hands on the ball.
Terry hit himself. He thought he had that one. Again, Grant just kind of falling apart on us. Youngstown State, they skipped number 4, went to 5-6, so maybe there is something to this.
Very well played, my friend, very well played. Off the corner, it's Terry pressuring Grant. Cotton giving chase, and it'll be Perry who will finally make sure that the Aggies quarterback is taken out of play. And right now, YSU's defense just kind of sitting back, and they know what's coming. Up 17 with about 8 minutes to go, and UC Davis bases its offense on the pass. You know what's coming.
And maybe Grant is even questioning himself. It almost appears as though he's kind of hesitating, maybe looking to tuck that ball and try and run it rather than throw another interception.
Right now, he has 196 yards passing. It's the only time this season he has not eclipsed the 200-yard mark. He'll try to go over 200 yards here. Steps up in the pocket, lost the ball, got it back. Now runs for the first down and more, and takes a nice hit. Upended, and it's Dorian Chenault who got him airborne. But John Grant, who fumbled after he had hit the ground, runs the ball out to the 42.
Interesting play by Grant. Again, he had plenty of time. You see Terry on the inside move. Halverson on the outside. Looks like he might have knocked that ball loose. Regardless, Grant able to come up with it and then do some damage on the ground, running the ball. Showing some nice moves before he's upended and drilled into the ground.
Yeah, you lose the football there at the bottom, but the officials ruled the fumble occurred after Grant was down. So the run gives the Aggies a first down, and now John Grant going to go back up top. Throws, pass nearly picked off by Jason Perry. Had one hand on it, couldn't get the second one on it, and the pass goes as an incompletion intended for Chris Carter.
That was just great athletic ability by Jason Perry that time. Almost snagged that one in. Again, plenty of time. That's one of the things we need to work on. He just leaped into the air, almost brought it down. Would have been his second pick.
Well, you talked about maybe the lack of confidence that John Grant's feeling after having thrown 3 interceptions on 3 consecutive series. But it's on the reverse side, the amount of confidence that secondary for Youngstown State is feeling is evident right now.
But that could be bad. They might take risks they didn't normally take.
Pass caught by Cale Turner. Eludes 2 would-be tacklers. Into YSU territory, still on his feet, and runs the ball to the Penguins, 42. Nice second effort by Cale Turner.
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword as a cornerback. You might, how many times have you seen a guy go for the interception, come up short, the coverage fails, and the receiver makes a catch and runs downfield for a touchdown?
Well, with that completion, John Grant has now gone over 200 yards passing for the 4th game this season. He's got 212 on the night. Lateral. They want to do the same thing. Kays looking deep. Penguins sense it. Now they're going to chase him. Kays will throw back across the field. Nobody there. That's got to be intentional grounding. And there is a flag down.
Well, he had his tight end open, and that's who I thought he was thrown to, but instead he threw way on the other side of the field. That's the play that UC Davis hit for in a touchdown in the first half. But Youngstown State had it sniffed out.
Well, that's an ineligible receiver downfield. And that's going to happen when you run that little swing, a lateral, and then look to throw a deep to lineman released. Could have been a double infraction then on the play. It's been a busy night for Jerry Frump and his crew. This will be the 7th penalty of the night against UC Davis.
Ineligible downfield on the offense. Number 77, 5-yard penalty in the previous spot. Replay first down.
So Kyle Skierski, 6'5", 285-pound senior, is the guilty party. Ball taken back out to the YSU 47. Tony Kays was the man in motion. Grant just throws it into the ground. Marcus Nolan was in the area. That's going to bring up another long down here. See how close that is to intentional. That's got to be intentional grounding. I mean, Nolan was 5 yards ahead, and all Grant really did was just throw it right into the ground. But he was out of the pocket, which would be that would be their complaint. Second down now. Terry giving chase. That's got to be another near intentional grounding call. But again, Grant's out of the pocket, so he's able to make that errant throw, and he's also going to rule
now there's
that
a penalty.
Well, he also is going to say that he had Cale Turner in the nearby vicinity. So that's what That's what Grant's saying. He's saying, look, I had a receiver nearby in 81, Cale Turner. The official says, no, he wasn't even attempting to throw it to him. Head coach Bob Biggs, more than 100 career victories.
There's no flag on the play. There was a receiver in the area, even though the ball didn't cross the line.
Now UC Davis wins that argument. You'll get a look at it. Now the line of scrimmage was about the 47-yard line. There's James Terry making a bead. And you could make a case if that's intentional grounding because you see Grant's head really never looked downfield when he threw it.
To be honest with you, I'm getting confused as to what intentional grounding is anymore. I don't know where you have to be in relation to the pocket, how close a guy has to be. We've seen quite a few of these calls or non-calls here this evening.
And you could make a case either way. It didn't look like Grant was looking for a receiver. He was just looking to get rid of the ball. All kinds of time. Pass dumped off to the setback, Marcus Nolan. And a great job by Nolan to get the first down. That's a gain of 17 yards by Marcus Nolan.
Yeah, nice job by Nolan all day for Grant sitting in the pocket. He found Nolan. Nice pass, nice catch, but you'll see at the end of the play, Nolan deliver a blow on Jason Perry, knock him over as he picked up that first down. Again, too much time. Nice run. Runs Perry right over.
And that's what got Nolan past the first down marker. Now they go to the ground with Nolan. Stumbles, tried to get away from the Penguins, Rashawn Simons, and that was enough to knock Nolan off his feet as he loses his balance going down at the 29. Coming up on the 6-minute mark here left in the game. And the Aggies need 3 scores to get back on top. Bad snap at the feet of John Grant. They'll slide to a stop at around the 22.
So we know what type of a passing quarterback he is, but we've seen him doing a good job of scrambling when he had to. That time, bad snap, picks it up, weaves his way between traffic, picks up positive yardage.
Well, coming into the game, UC Davis had 4 rushing touchdowns. John Grant had half of them.
And actually, he led the team last year in rushing touchdowns with 6.
Terry trying to blitz, but the pass is complete to Chris Carter. He gets the ball to the Penguins' 12-yard line. Now, the only problem with this drive for UC Davis, it's taking too long to get one
I was just thinking, I said the only plus is they're allowing UC Davis to go down the field, but they're making them take a lot of time off the clock.
I mean, this is the 12th play of the drive coming up on a series which began back at the Aggies' 20. And now they have it on the YSU 12. Pressure up the middle. Grant gets away and then throws it over everyone's head. The only bonus for UC Davis is it stops the clock with just over 5 minutes left in the game.
Grant's accuracy has been failing him a bit in the second half here. Overthrowing guys, underthrowing them. Very uncharacteristic. We know what he's capable of, averaging 250 yards passing a game. He's probably closing in on that, but it could be a lot higher had he been on the mark.
Well, he's got 240 yards passing right now. Give to Marcus Nolan. Tackled at the 8-yard line by the Penguins' Bobby Likes Knight, a sophomore out of Cleveland, Ohio. Now it's 3rd down, but you're in 4-down territory at this stage of the game. So there isn't as much a sense of urgency for the Aggies. Pass to Tony Kays. Jason Perry on him at the 7-yard line.
Youngstown State's done a good job all evening long of keeping Tony Case caged up. You can see how UC Davis not only likes to hit him downfield, they like to hit him on those flare passes out of the backfield one-man screens, so they know that he can do damage when he gets his hands on the ball. YSU keeping him bottled up all evening long.
Their first time out of the second half. Please reset the game clock to 4:21.
So UC Davis uses one of its 3 allotted timeouts and will step aside. It's Youngstown State 38, UC Davis 21. Back with more right after this.
As little as 16 months, you could be starting an exciting career in the aviation industry with aviation maintenance technician training from PIA at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Classes begin soon, but space is limited, so call PIA right now. Give us 16 months and we'll give you the skills to begin a high-paying career at our newest campus at the Youngstown Warren Regional Airport. Call PIA and schedule a tour right now.
If you're looking to buy a new home or refinance your present one, why not visit your hometown credit union, ASECU? The Associated School Employees Credit Union, serving Mahoning County school employees and YSU employees, offers some of the best home loan rates in the area. And because their offices are right here in Mahoning County, your loans are processed quickly. No waiting for calls from an out-of-town decision maker. Visit the ASECU offices in Austintown, Boardman, or on the YSU campus. You'll see why it's the best place to save and the only place to borrow.
The bottom line is winning.
Attorney Chris Maruka is part of the team that represents you at Beatrice Harshman.
In college, he earned awards as an All-American linebacker on the football team.
Now he uses that same aggressive work ethic to represent your personal injury claim.
I can't imagine anything more important than choosing a lawyer for a serious personal injury or medical claim.
Chris is the kind of lawyer you want on your side.
The bottom line is winning.
And winning is what you want.
You want local news, but you don't want to stay up late.
Demand more.
More in-depth coverage of the stories that impact you.
No, sir, definitely by no means. Never done any violence. My property, get off of it. Touch them again, you're in trouble.
More local sports action from all your favorite schools.
Whether it's from the other side of the county or right in your own backyard, First News at 10 gives you more.
It's one full hour of local news before the rest.
Think first, think Fox.
First News at 10 on Fox 1762.
Well, Emmanuel Benjamin to attempt a 24-yard field goal. The Aggies.
Erica Hirschberger, the 5'7" sophomore. As you said, a very young team. Molly Hirschberger, her sister, is 2 years older, a senior. Laura Bardall penetrates center of the lane, floats it off the glass, and it bounces in.
Great dribble penetration. She got real deep to the basket and was able to score.
And although it looked like defensively Ursuline had the number of Garraway, they're clawing their way back into this.
You're exactly right. There's another foul.
Away from the ball.
Trying to get Grant open.
Foul is called on Laura Bardall. And that's the 7th team foul, which creates a 1-on-1 shooting situation for the Irish. And Grant, who missed 2 free throws earlier in the ball game, will step back to the stripe, as we said, shooting 77.1%. Tyra Grant headed to Penn State to play for the Nittany Lions. That's a little bit more like it.
That's her. I think the last couple